This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We are ready to rock and roll. Boom. That's what Pat Riley did last night. Boom. We're back. Boom. We make the move.
We're about to
Boom.
start and our fearless leader leaves. The camera goes, just nobody, and you come back. Thank you.
Yes. Well, phone call comes in and we got a lot of things going on. So, yeah, it's one of those. But that's the beauty of, kind of being in control that you can.
You're a hell of a juggler there, buddy.
That's, yes. That I am, my brother. That I am. I can definitely juggle and mishandle a lot of things at the same time because that's basically what I do when I'm juggling, just mishandling everything. Anyway, good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well out there. I would hope that you're loving life a little bit more. I would imagine that you're enjoying watching the Miami Heat make some moves. We'll keep you updated on everything going on Heat-wise, and we'll find out if the news becomes final and official. The news is out already that Iguodala has been shipped to Miami. Hell, he talked about it. We'll share the sound bites for you, all that good stuff. Now we're trying to find out, is it what, the players that we were kind of talking about during that Clippers game last night? And then obviously the other piece that a lot of people are talking about, which is Danilo Gallinari, is the guy that a lot of people are saying is the next guy that is coming here to Miami. So we'll keep you updated on all the NBA news that breaks. Remember, the trading deadline is right at 3 o'clock when we get off the air. Now, there are times when there are deals that go into the next hour in that 3 o'clock hour because they're trying to, the trade came in on time, but the NBA has to approve the trade in the process. So those kind of things sometimes happen here. So I'm keeping up with the NBA Twitter and finding out what is what and who is going where, all those kind of things. Here on the program, so we'll have some fun with that. Look, here are my thoughts on all of this. And you weren't doing anything with James Johnson. You weren't doing anything with Dion Waiters. I mean, he's basically been a cancer for you all season long. Justice Winslow, man, I'm a fan of Justice. I'm one of the guys that defends Justice Winslow. But the one thing that I never defend on anybody is injuries. And it gets to a point where you're unreliable. Okay, and I'm consistent as hell about this. With Tua, a lot of you needed the hip injury to get off the bandwagon. I got off on the injury before that one. I think it was the knee sprain or whatever it was. And I said, I'm done. This guy's always injured. I mean, yesterday, I'm watching basketball. Zion Williamson now has a toe injury. I'm like, you're big, you're strong, and you're not durable. I mean, this is what we all, well, not all, some of us feared with Zion. And this is why when, I was going after a rookie keeper, I went after John Morant, not Zion. That's the guy I wanted. I wanted John Morant. I didn't want Zion. In fact, I said in the offseason, John Morant will become the better player when it's all said and done. Okay? So we'll see. I mean, Zion can be a hell of a player, but you got to stay healthy to become a hell of a player. And Justice Winslow was never going to become a hell of a player because he can't score. He'll never become a great shooter. Okay? You're hoping he can become a serviceable shooter at times. He can't finish around the rim. But worse than anything else, he can't be counted on. He's unreliable. He has missed most of the season this year with a couple of injuries, and you just can't have that. The guy's missed a boatload of games. Look, and this becomes a good trade for both teams in a way, because Miami gets the guy short-term that can help you in so many ways and experience and everything else, and then they get a young player to go with their young core. Now he's got to stay healthy. Okay? If he doesn't stay healthy, it's not the worst trade in the world because it's not like you're cap strapped. It's not like Iguodala was playing for you. It's the same thing as the Heat. The Heat are a really good team without Winslow, James Johnson, and Dion Waiters. So if you're getting rid of that and whatever, a second rounder or something, then go for it. Like I told you yesterday, if you're going to make these moves, as long as you're not giving up the future, I don't care. I'm fine. I'd rather have Andre Iguodala on this team because he's got experience. Now, I know he's 36, so that's a pain in the ass to know that how old he is at this point. But in this case, he doesn't have to play a full season, which is good. If that extension kicks in next year, and we'll talk about that in a minute, then you've got a whole different ball game. Okay, now you got to really worry about the age. But this is a guy that will be controlled minutes-wise. He's probably going to play in the neighborhood of 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. No more than that. He's going to be a reserve, another guy that's a key reserve, and then a key defender on the perimeter, all these kind of things that when you need certain stops, he will be there. Lord knows you needed some help on the perimeter last night, although the Clippers were, what was it, 44%? 44% from three-point. I mean, they were just unstoppable yesterday. And the Larry Shamet kid was just all over, man. That was nuts. But I love this move. I think this is a fantastic move by the Heat. And you start to add the intelligence behind the move. Because according to Woj, this deal has a team option. So this allows Miami to stay fluid for 2021. That's been their plan, not next year, but the following season, not this coming off season, the next off season, 2021, they want to have their cap space to try to go after another star. Correct? So if you're able to do that, then that, you're able to try to better yourself for the now while keeping your flexibility to the future. And that's all we ask. I mean, that's more than enough. Whereas we saw what happened the last couple of years when you made terrible decisions and you backed yourself into a corner where you had no flexibility. I mean, and remember, we all thought you would gain some flexibility as we got towards the back end of these bad contracts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the back end of these contracts. The last half of this year and one more year left for James Johnson and for Dion Waiters. And if you're able to get rid of those salaries, then, come on. This is what it's all about. This is what you need to do. Look, you still may not be a championship team because you may not be better than the Lakers and the Clippers because those teams are pretty damn good. especially the Clippers, which I think are the deepest team in the NBA. But that you can't look at it that way. What you are is a real menace in the East. You have once you add Gallinari and you add a shooter like that to this team, you are locked in to be a top 4 team. Now the question is, can you do enough to maybe even get past the Bucks to get into the finals at least? That would be the ultimate. But if you get to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks, that would be an incredible season, a fantastic season, a really successful season. And that's all we can ask for as fans. I mean, I started the season thinking 7 or 8 seed, getting bounced in the first round, and now you have moved to the point and you've developed players to a point that maybe you've got a slim shot at getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And hell, really tiny chance, because Milwaukee's really good and the freak is the freak, but a tiny chance to even advance to the NBA Finals. Anything can happen at that point. You know, something happens to the freak, he twists an ankle, he's not as healthy, and, you know, you go in there and you got a way of stealing the series, then you do it. But you have to love what the Miami Heat are doing, because they're doing what any fan wants them to do. Do whatever it takes to win. And they're doing it in an intelligent fashion and keeping everything in check. And I think it's awesome. By the way, we're out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7, just a couple blocks south of that giant guitar off the turnpike. So come on by, man. I see my man Herbie out there. He is ready to rock and sell you all kinds of cars. The selection is second to none. If you're looking for a Supra, if you're looking for a Camry like I bought a little over a month ago, you name it, a Corolla, a Tundra. There's so many different vehicles here, over 1,500 cars and trucks. When you've got over 1,500, you've got one large selection, over 400,000 square feet. So come on out here, see this incredible sales staff, tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you here at Toyota of Hollywood. All right. Well, one of the things that obviously a lot of us wanted to find out is, how does everybody feel about this, right? And you can only get so many sound bites from certain people. But yesterday, Jimmy Butler was asked about the addition of Andre Iguodala. And it seems to me like Jay Butt loves what he sees.
Winning. He knows how to do that on both sides of the ball. He's super smart. There's nothing that he cannot do. And I think I get to learn from him. Everybody else gets to learn from him. That winning level, that leader is going up in everybody's mind.
Jimmy Butler. And it's everything that he said is 1,000% true. You got a champion, you got an MVP guy, you got an all-star, you got a guy that has been in every important situation possible in the NBA, has defended some of the best players in the history of the NBA, and done a pretty good job, too, at times, defending some of those players. The amount of experience that these guys can go over, walk over, and pick his brain is awesome. It's just awesome. And it's another leader that you add on this team. And it goes with what the Heat are all about. You know, you're hopefully in this process, you're getting rid of Dion Waiters, who's immature, who doesn't understand professionalism, who isn't a professional himself, okay, and still doesn't get it. And that's where the Heat made a mistake, you know. And to see... And I think personally for Butler, there's got to be even more gratification from him. And I know last night he tweaked the shoulder. He'll have the MRI. He's got the right shoulder strain. Hopefully he's all right. It didn't seem like he was really down yesterday when he was talking. So hopefully it's not a big deal. But for Jimmy personally, think about this. You know, you can go somewhere and go to a new job, go to a new place, whatever, and people will talk it up and tell you and make you all kinds of promises. Lord knows I've gotten that in this business, where people make you some kind of promises and obviously they can't deliver. But you know, Jimmy, when he signed here, they told him what the plan was. They told him what they want to do. Now, a lot of people can tell you they want to do something. The question is, do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the intelligence? Do you have the capabilities of being able to do that? And for Jimmy, he has to see, you know, I got here and these guys were right. We got a young core that is pretty good, and they've grown around me, and this is awesome. And they're dogs too. They're not like these wussies that I had in Minnesota. They're not like these kids that I had to battle with in Chicago that weren't, you know, mature enough to handle things and all that other stuff. The run-ins he had with some of those young guys in those different spots. He saw these young guys are cut from a different cloth. And obviously they're telling you, hey, we're trying to get another star to pair for you. And not that Andre Iguodala at this point is that other star. But he's an experienced player who's been a star and can really help this team out while maintaining the flexibility that you have for the future to add that star that they talked about. Now you go and add Gallinari, not an all-star, but a good player, a really good shooter overall, 6'10" shooter. I mean, 6'10" shooters are pretty cool, man. That's what not that I'm comparing them, but that was also one of the things that probably scared the crap out of people with Larry Bird. You know? So wait a minute, you're telling me this 6'9", 6'10", whatever Bird was, this dude can shoot too from three-point? How the hell am I going to block that shot? How do you block Giannis? How do you know when some of these guys, Durant, when some of these guys can also shoot and they're 6'10", that's an advantage, man. Tom Chambers, whatever, you know. Over the history of the NBA, we've had some of the Jack Sikma, those big guys that can shoot. You know what I'm saying? I said Jack Sikma now, and there are a bunch of young guys right now going, what the hell is he talking about? What language was that? Anyway, so, you know, these are things that are a monster positive for this offense to add a guy like Gallinari. Again, not an all-star, but a really good shooter. And obviously, Gallinari fits perfectly in what you do in today's NBA. He is injury prone. And that's why I would imagine that the deal that they're going to put in place for Gallinari also has team options if they get that star. And I love how it looks like the way the Heat are structuring everything is for them to maintain that flexibility. Think about this. They've been able to maintain that flexibility, add talent, minus take away talent you don't need. Let's be honest now. You don't need Dion. You really don't need Winslow right now anymore. I mean, if he could stay healthy, then maybe. But he never stays healthy, so you don't need him. And James Johnson has been a zero so far. So now you add pieces that will fit into what you do. You've added two shooters and perimeter guys in Iguodala and Gallinari. You've added a defensive perimeter guy, which Dion Waiters is not. Justice is, but again, he can't stay healthy. And James Johnson is not a perimeter player. So you really look at all of this, and it just makes a lot of sense. Andre Iguodala, by the way, you heard Jimmy Butler talking about playing with Andre Iguodala and how excited he is. Let's hear from Iggy, who, by the way, doesn't, according to Cassidy Hubbard, he does not like being called Iggy. I'm just saying. I follow Cassidy on Twitter, so I saw her post that to kind of like, I guess, warn people in South Florida. He doesn't like being called Iggy. But let's hear from Iggy on playing with Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler, obviously proven as one of those guys who he's looked at as different, but very well respected in terms of the passion and the hard work that he brings to the game. And I feel like his temperament and, the values that he has really resonates with the Miami Heat, and they very well align. And I think he's brought out the best in those young guys. And those are some of the guys I'm really excited about as well, because I feel like I can make a most impact with those guys. And my big man, Bam, I'm really looking forward to playing with him. I've been hearing about him the last couple of years from a friend out in Miami, so helping him get better, really excited about that opportunity.
There you go. So Iggy talking about playing with Butler and the mindset and also how he's noticed the impact that Jimmy has had with these players. Because you got to think about this. Jimmy had issues with the Chicago Bulls players. He had issues with the Timberwolves players, right? None with the Sixers. Overall, he didn't have a problem with the Sixers. Maybe with management that they didn't re-sign him and, whatever. That's another thing, and that's why he lit him up for 40 points the other night. And so, this was important on a periphery for you, for me, for media, for other players around the NBA, for reporters. Everybody was kind of looking at, all right, Jimmy, you've had kind of some issues in two spots. Philly chose not to re-sign you. They went instead with Tobias. Right? And you figured you thought they would sign you over Tobias because you had more dog than Tobias, which you do, by the way. Even though Tobias is probably better skilled, okay, offensively. But everybody was kind of looking like, okay, well, how's Jimmy going to get along here? And it's gone, for the lack of a better term, splendidly. Okay, so I can say, let me use an old man word. Okay, so that's kind of been a thing, and Iggy noticed it also because he mentioned it there. If these guys were clashing, they probably wouldn't have the record they have. If these guys were clashing, they probably wouldn't be a top 4 seed. You know what I'm saying? So Iggy notices that, and then he says, looking forward to playing with Bam because I've been hearing from a friend. That friend is Ray Allen, by the way. That's been talking to him. So this is another thing. You had in the offseason, Wade telling Jimmy, dude, you got to go to Miami. That's the place made for you. Here's Iggy hearing from Ray Allen. Yeah, no, you want to go there, dude. Because remember, Iggy, his preference was Lakers-Clippers. In all of this, okay? Yeah, my voice. So pissed. A little Mexican Coke. Anyway, he wanted to go Clippers Lakers. So if you were going to trade him to another spot, he might have made it hard on you and the team that's trying to acquire him. Saying, yeah, no, dude, I'm not playing for you guys either. He could have held out too. I mean, he's held out this far. He can hold out for the rest of the year and just, all right, forget it. I'll give up on the season and I'll play next year. And that's it. Because Memphis was dead set on getting something. And I would imagine that they're getting these players and probably one of their second-round picks or something like that. No first-rounders can be dealt, thank the Lord. They've dealt enough first-rounders. The only time they can deal the next first-rounder will be on draft day when they have their 2020 pick that they can actually trade. But they can't trade it now. They're not allowed because they've already traded 2021. So that's their problem with all of that. So this is a move that obviously Iggy, he's 36 now. So the question is, where is Iggy at physically?
Yeah, excited to get back out there. Sometimes you get to training too much. You're like, what's the end road? You're training for no reason. But, all the hard work I put in while off, I didn't have to. I could have relaxed, but still put the hard work in on the court. And, ready, excited to, show and prove on the court. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of love so far. So excited to get to the 305 and excited to be in some great weather and excited to see my man Ray on the golf.
There you go. All right. So I told you, Ray on the golf course. Ray's the guy that was giving him all the info on the Heat. That's all. Pretty simple.
You know what this little inside
I'm sure Ray kicks his ass in golf too, by the way.
People talking to, the Heat, the Heat. You remember the big three
Yes.
Olympics, and they all went and talked around the league, and Wade went home to Chicago. And when they got back together, it was like, hey, man, everybody's saying to go where you've been. The place to be is Miami.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's what LeBron's people got back. That's what Bosch's people and Wade's people, it's like, yeah, the place to be is where I was, Miami.
Well, I mean, look, it's a place where if you're willing to work and you're dedicated, you'll be fine. That's all. It's pretty simple. Man, this is killing me, dude. This frustrates the hell out of me. I hate it when I hear it from you. Now I'm hearing it from me. My voice. Damn it, man. I'm so sorry out there. I apologize. I hate that it sounds like this right now. It's bothering the hell out of me, I'm telling you, man.
We're almost up on a break.
Yeah. Anyway, so good stuff that Iggy is on board and, focused on being a Heat player, and there are no hurdles whatsoever. All right, let's do this. I'm going to get some water and see if I can clear this thing up because it's driving my ass crazy. This disgusts me, by the way, is what it does. It pisses me off when he does it. It's going to piss me off when I do it, even more. So if I hold him to a standard, I got to be held to a much higher standard. And this is crazy, man. It's just one of those things. But anyway, we will take a quick break. We're out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Come on by. Say hi. We would love to see you. Better yet, come on by and get a great vehicle. Buy or lease a vehicle. Over 1,500 cars and trucks out here. So we'll be back right here on the Big O Show.
Jimmy Butler,
Plus tax tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. We take you till about 3 o'clock out here at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be out here for a while. We're going to have Keith Sims from Real GM and Yahoo at 12:30. At 2 o'clock, Andre Fernandez from The Athletic is going to join us to talk a little Heat. But right now, I love this guy. Albert Nahmad is a great follow on Twitter at Albert Nahmad. He is an NBA salary cap expert. I've had him on several times over the years. It's always good to have him on in these moments because he understands a lot of things that us stupid people can't understand when it comes to the salary cap because it confuses the hell out of us. That's why, Albert, I got to bring you on. You're a hell of a lot smarter than I am, my man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's always good, my brother. All right, first of all, let's talk about the Iggy deal because it sounds very smart. Tell me if I'm understanding it the right way. It's a 2-year extension on top of this. So basically, Iggy guaranteed himself next year, and then after that, the Heat have the option of eliminating the second year if they're able to chase and land a superstar. Is that how it works?
That's correct. He makes $17 million this year, and then he signed a 2-year, $30 million extension. So let's say 15 each year. Mm-hmm. But he hasn't. But the Heat have a team option on the second year, so they can decline that option in favor of the cap space if in the summer of 2021 they want to pursue a max level free agent.
Okay, so and then when you look at the money going out, how does it make sense to you? What players? Obviously, Winslow's going that way. Who else is going to end up, do you think, going to Memphis? Because James Johnson and Dion Waiters did not play last night. So what do you think?
Okay, so initially this was reported as a deal between Miami and Memphis.
Right.
And then it got expanded to a deal to also include OKC. But let's talk the Memphis side of things first. Obviously, the key prize for Memphis in doing this deal in exchange for Iggy is Justice Winslow. The rest of the deal hasn't been reported yet, but I suspect that it includes at least Dion Waiters, if not James Johnson as well, going out. And the Heat would get returned a couple of expiring contracts. That's how it would have been structured likely if it just included Memphis. The structure will change if it also includes OKC for Danilo Gallinari. And I think at this point, that's a pretty good bet.
So, Albert, the part I don't understand is, how are the Heat fooling everybody and giving away James Johnson and Dion Waiters and all? I get Winslow at least because even though, his body breaks down, he's unreliable, but at least there's potential there. He's young. Why are they taking these contracts? This is the part I don't understand.
So of all of the components of both parts of these transactions, the one that I struggle with the most is Memphis taking on both James Johnson and Dion Waiters, if indeed that's how it's structured, in exchange for getting Justice Winslow. And he could also throw in some second-round picks. They have 2 available. They're not very active ones. They're one in 2022 and I believe one in 2024. And they also have some cash. The only thing I can say is it does not destroy anything for Memphis to take on those 2 contracts. It does eliminate just about all of their cap space for next season when they would have had a lot previously. But from a long-term perspective, it doesn't really do much. The prize for them presumably would be Winslow and whatever minor stuff the Heat throws in as well, maybe second-round picks, etc. That's what I struggle with the most. But clearly, from the Heat's perspective, that would be a pretty good deal.
I know. It's a great deal.
To get Iggy and to dump those players off the cap for next year. Next year will be everybody's focused on 2021, but next year will be a big year as well.
Well, yeah, but once Miami makes these deals, they really have no flexibility next year, correct?
Well, not really. So we focused on the Memphis side of things. We really haven't talked yet about the OKC side of things. And I think because OKC is allowing the Heat to talk to Gallinari about an extension, I think it's a pretty good bet that deal will happen. So the 3-team deal will come together by the 3 p.m. deadline. That's what I'm guessing. At that point, if that were to be the case, the Heat could essentially bring back the entirety of this team, post-deal, back next year because they'll have bird rights to everyone. So they do have that flexibility. Now they'll have at that point, they'll have 9 players under contract and they'll have to sign just about everybody else, all the free agents. Goran Dragic, of course, Gallinari, if he signs an extension, etc. And all of those players will have to get $32 million split between them if the Heat are to stay below the $115 million luxury tax. Confusing stuff, but the point is the Heat can bring back everybody they have this year, next year. So that's the good thing about next year. And then it's about the all-important summer of 2021, and they're maintaining flexibility to bring back a max contract. Now, the only thing the Heat are struggling with here is what kind of contract extension do they give to Gallinari? Because they can pay him anything they want up to his extension max is $24 million next year. Just for some perspective, he can, as a free agent, get $40 million. He's not going to get $40 million.
Right, nobody's going to pay that, yeah.
The Heat can give him up to 24 next year and up to $25 million in 2021. Now, I've done countless permutations on how much the Heat can pay him in 2021 right now in an extension and still have enough for a max contract on top of it. And the most I can get to is somewhere around $16 or $17 million. And that's being very aggressive. His max in the extension, like I just said, is $25 million. So that's where you can see the negotiation coming in. Does he sign a 1-year extension and get that $24 million? Does he sign a 2-year extension and maybe take less, or do the Heat just bite the bullet and give him the full amount? That's where we are now.
Well, and will there be any of those out clauses for the team like they did with Iggy? Do you think that that's going to be included in that?
So this is all part of the negotiation. If the Heat could get a team option on Gallinari's second year of an extension, that would be wonderful. Okay. But of course, that's a negotiation, and Gallinari is not apt to want that. He's already 31 years old. You know, he wants to lock in as many future seasons as he can, especially if he's limited by the amount he can get in extension, which would start at 24, like I said, as opposed to more in free agency. And remember, he's a good player. From the start of the season, he's my preferred trade target. So it's nice to see the Heat are actually following through with it. So he's a good player, and he can command a lot of money. So the question is, if the Heat do give him the out you're suggesting, will he accept that? It's all part of the negotiation.
Well, but he's also injury prone. So that's one thing, Albert, that he's got to also look at, that even if he can't expect a lot of people to be giving him those huge guarantees, because he's also had his share of injury history too.
I would agree with that. This is a risk. He is very injury prone. But here's the way I look at it, right? The prize that Miami is giving to Memphis in order to get Iggy is Justice Winslow. So what is the prize that the Heat are going to give to OKC to get Gallinari? Because despite his injury history, Gallinari is a very good player. So the Heat don't really have a whole lot of other assets unless they want to get into, Nunn, Robinson, and they're not going to touch those guys. Those guys are our future. So if they're not including those guys, what kind of assets do they have? First round picks. And the question is, and we can get into this if you'd like, but the question is, if you give up future first round picks, are you really going to want to have to do that in exchange for a guy you don't have locked in long term?
But wait a minute. So, but Albert, I thought they can't trade a first round pick at all.
Okay, good. So we can get into that. So first, they've sent out their 2021 pick already, and they've also sent their 2023 pick. Right. Now, two things to consider here. You can't trade future first-round picks in consecutive seasons. That's one. And two is you can't trade a first-round pick more than 7 years into the future. So by default, if you've traded your 2023 pick, the first pick you can trade is 2025. But there's a problem. The Heat's 2023 pick is lottery protected. So if the Heat miss the playoffs, they get that pick and it rolls to the next year. And then if they make the playoffs again, miss the playoffs, of course. If they miss the playoffs again, it rolls to 2024, then to 2025, then to 2026. It's guaranteed to convey. Okay. So the question is, if it keeps rolling, what is 2 years after that? And 7 years will have already expired. If the Heat miss the playoffs for the next 2023 and 2024, they can't guarantee OKC would get a second first-round pick. So everybody's talking about adjusting the protections on that 2023 pick. If they make it unprotected, then all of a sudden they can trade their 2025 pick. So that's the way it works. So the Heat could give two components to OKC that would be attractive. One, remove the protections from the 2023 pick, and two, give a 2025 pick. They don't have to do both. They can do one or the other, but those are the parameters of a potential deal, I think.
You like that deal, giving up a first rounder in this for Gallinari?
So that's the question. Is Gallinari worth a first round pick? To me, the answer is yes. The problem is the Heat has already given up 2 first round picks. So that's where it gets a little bit more dicey. You're comparing a situation which is probably fair and only saying it's problematic because the Heat has already done so much damage in giving up 2 first-round picks. So that's not really fair to the Gallinari trade because you've got OKC on the other side saying, I'm not going to give them to you unless you give me something of value.
Right.
So do I like it? Personally, I like Gallinari. So personally, yes, but that's an individual decision, right? I can't make that for everyone.
Yeah, I like Gallinari. The problem is his injury history is the part that scares me. And then that's what I've been thinking is, why is OKC getting rid of him? Is it because they know they have no future with him and so they just want to get something with him in the end? Is that really what it's all about?
Well, so OKC doesn't have to get rid of Gallinari. You know, they're in the playoff picture. They've got a whole bunch of future first-round picks coming to them, but he's 31. He's not really part of their future. He's an unrestricted free agent this summer. If they can get something of value for him, even though it might hurt their playoff picture for this season, it would be worth it from their perspective, especially if they can also drop below the luxury tax, which the three-team trade would do for them. So they get a couple of benefits there.
It's interesting. Albert Nahmad, by the way, he is a NBA salary cap expert. He understands it like we never will, and he follows all of this. So, Albert, all right, when you look at this move here, I would imagine, because every time somebody talks about this, it's a matter of maintaining flexibility. So then if they're in negotiations, that has to be that Gallinari understands that part, just like Iggy did about their flexibility for 2021, right? I would imagine that if this is moved forward to this point, that part has had to have been agreed upon already, right?
Right. So, I mean, they came into this trade season basically with approximately up to $38 million of potential cap space in 2021. And if they had declined the $13 million option on Winslow, it would have been 50. They've replaced Winslow's 13 with Iggy's 15. So instead, it becomes 36 or 50 plus. And that 36 could be massaged to get up to 38, and you need 38 to get to a max contract. So that's where we are with Iggy, right? Iggy, if you exercise the option, you still have max cap room, but if you decline it, you have over $50 million of cap room. Now the question is, what will Gallinari get? So clearly, if Gallinari gets about that same amount, 16, 17, then you start compromising max cap space if he gets more than that. So like I said previously, if he gets 16 or 17 million in that second year, you still have max cap space, but he's eligible to get up to 25. So that's where the sort of the negotiation comes in. If you give him 25, all of a sudden you don't have room for a max contract free agent, and you have to think about things like trading him or waiving him and stretching him, etc. So do you give him 1 year on the extension and give him the full 24 million next season, but just chop out the second season after that? Do you tack on a team option so that the Heat have the flexibility, or do you try to negotiate for less? Or do you give them that full amount, but you make it partially guaranteed? So if the Heat waive him, they can save the extra amount of money they need for a max contract. There's a lot of permutations here, which is why we're 3 hours away from the deadline and it's not completed yet.
Albert, is the cap, didn't it go down a little bit this past year or this upcoming year? Is that also an issue here too?
It did. It went down from 116 million to 115 million, but that's only for next season. Nothing for 2021 has been impacted yet, and won't unless the situation with China affects multiple seasons. We don't know that yet, and I don't think the league knows that yet, so they have not updated their projections for 2021. So for next season, going down from 116 to 115 on the, going down from 116 to 115, and more importantly for the Heat, going down to 141 on the luxury tax, it hurts a little bit, but if the Heat brings everybody back, they have bird rights to everyone. So these numbers don't really impact their flexibility. All they would do is impact the tax payment they might have to pay if they exceed the now lower luxury tax payment, which dropped to 141, I believe. So it's not really harmful yet unless it impacts multiple seasons.
And so it went down basically because of China? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what I suspect, and a lot of people suspect that it was primarily the result. And it only went down $1 million. So there were projections that, China-related revenues would fall between 150 and 200 million. A $1 million drop in the salary cap would equate to, and this is just my math, would equate to a little less than $100 million of revenue loss. So that was actually pretty good if that was the result of China alone. So, but again, if it ends up impacting 2021, these numbers could change. But if it doesn't, then the Heat are looking pretty good right now, pending how they negotiate with Gallinari.
Just out of curiosity, Albert Nahmad joining us. how are they with their young guys? We know, obviously, with Tyler because he's a first-round pick, but with Duncan, with Silva, and with Nunn, what are the future contract situations with those three guys?
Okay, so let's focus on Robinson and Nunn. Silva's is slightly different. Robinson and Nunn are both at minimum salaries next season, non-guaranteed. I think everybody in the world knows that despite they're non-guaranteed, they will be guaranteed, and they will be coming back at the minimum salary for next season. After that, the Heat can make them restricted free agents. So their futures are secure.
Okay.
The question will be for the Heat, what the cap holds will be in 2021 to make them free agents. Now, they'll both probably qualify for what's called for starter criteria, which would raise them all the way up to $4.7 million. But the Heat have ways to lower that down to a little less than $2 million. So if the Heat are creative there, the answer to your question is both Robinson and Nunn are with the Heat for the long term, and when they do become free agents in 2021, they'll be with a low cap hold, and he can re-sign them to anything they want up to a max.
Okay.
So that's them.
Right.
Silva's basically the same story, except he has a team option for 2021 that he could exercise, or they can just get rid of him if he does not perform to expectations by declining it and move forward.
Okay. All right, good. So they're not in one of those white side positions. Remember a couple years back where they were screwed, basically. They had to pay him no matter what. This is, in a way, they're controlling everything, and they'll have their bird rights, right? I don't know. Does that exist for these young guys?
So let me give you the 2021 picture. The Heat will have Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, all secure. They could also have KZ Okpala if he performs, Chris Silva, and a 2020 first-round pick. All of that is factored into my projections that say the Heat will have also enough for a max contract and maybe enough to give Gallinari 16 to 17 million in 2021, or they could use that elsewhere, 15, 16, 17 million elsewhere. So we're looking at 50 million plus of cap room with all the players I read to you, which the Heat could allocate to a max and another guy.
I love that. Wow. So this is awesome. This gets me sexually aroused. This is like the opposite of giving Whiteside, Johnson, Tyler Johnson, and Dion contracts. This is like, I mean, wow, this is great.
They're wonderfully flexible. The only last bit of negotiation I would imagine is what they give to Gallinari.
Right. Okay. All right. I like it. I mean, wow, that's this makes me feel even better. Overall, what do you think if they add Gallinari now and Iggy? What are the chances to get to at least the Eastern Conference Finals? What do you think?
At least to get, the Eastern Conference Finals is tough because you're going through. Well, so clearly.
I can't expect a title or anything like that, but by some chance, what do you think about it? An Eastern Conference Finals would be
Milwaukee's
amazing.
Be there. Milwaukee's going to be there. Now, can you pass Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia to get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Sure, I think that's possible.
Yeah.
So that's can they win? Can they beat Milwaukee and get to the finals? Probably not.
No, yeah.
Are they building a future where they could do that? Ironically, Milwaukee's best player is the player that the Heat want to get in 2021, and that's Giannis. So a lot of people are banking their hopes in South Florida on Giannis. Giannis is on a very good team right now. He's given no indications that he'll leave, so you never know what the future is going to hold. The point for the Heat is they have the flexibility. And that's the good thing.
Heat fans, he's a must-follow on Twitter at Albert Namad. He does an excellent job. He knows that salary cap inside and out. He was taught by Andy Ellisberg. That's why he knows it all, baby. Right, Albert? That's what it is. You and Andy hanging out, right? Sharing ideas.
Sure.
That's what it's all about. Albert, thank you, my brother. You're always awesome with your time. We really appreciate it. Very educating.
All right. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother. There you go. Albert Namad, man. He is awesome. Always love having him on and talking a little Heat. So that's what I love. All the flexibility is there. to do everything that you need to do and still chase the star down the line. So I would imagine that the Gallinari deal will have also team options because they did it with Iggy, and Iggy's more established than Gallinari as a player. Like, he's accomplished way more in this league than Gallinari. So if you're moving the negotiations over to Gallinari, it's like, well, what we did with Iggy, we got to do with you. We must maintain flexibility for 2021. And for Gallinari, you're joining a better team right now with a better future. So, and if you can guarantee yourself another year like Iggy did, take it. I like it, man. I really like it. All right, let's see what we got here on the chat board for YouTube. NorCal chimes in, says, wake and bake, Bill. George Albanese says, good morning, Damo. Nice freaking shirt. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. User Tom says, what up, guys? Man of 1,000 holds. Morning, everyone. The NBA Godfather does it again. Welcome, Andre, and it's not over yet. John Rouse says, Big O, you going to Miami? I am going to Miami. I'll be going to Hollywood. I'll be going all over the place.
Is that in honor of Andy Reid? The shirt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See the correlation.
NorCal asked, did Andy Reid give you that shirt? Oh. John Ross says, are you going to Hawaii? Flipside Fishing says, aloha, Big O. Nice shirt. I feel like hitting the beach now. John Santos says, good morning, guys. Big O, are you for the Hawaiian look like Andy Reid? So everybody's taking shots at me now. Okay. Will Danilo Gallinari come to Miami? What are they targeting instead of CP3? Okay. Ian says, he may be a good kid, but I'm ecstatic Winslow is ghost. I'm with you, too. I like Winslow a lot, man, but he can't stay healthy. They're calling me Bill Lambier now. Lakeisha Smith says, good morning, Big O. Lakeisha's back. Flipside Fishing says, green tea with lemon and honey is a trick some singers use to help their voice. I'm going to have to do that, man. I mean, it cleared up now, but it's just one of those things where I've been talking a lot. And the week I powered through when I was sick, that didn't help. I did a lot of damage that time. And it's kind of like a recovery from there. You know what I mean? Lakeisha says, what do you think of people giving Joe Burrow advice on not going to the bungles? Well, I mean, that's smart advice, right? You know, sometimes people tell you you shouldn't work with that guy because, you know, they know that guy. Hey, Big O, any news on the Marlins' new players? Nothing yet, but I will tell you this. Saturday, tune in 3 to 7. We're going to have 4 different Marlins players on. We will either have Don Mattingly or Mike Hill on, and we will be at Marlins Fan Fest on Saturday, broadcasting live out there. So come on by and join us. And we will talk a little baseball on that day. We'll get a little bit more into it. We need a return of the Salary Cap Criminals Award. Dougie Fresh says, the state attorney just dropped charges against Xavier Howard. Yes, I know. The NFL has more domestic violence reported each year than baseball, basketball combined, and the NHL. What's up with the NFL? I don't know, man. The NFL has got more knuckleheads than any sport. It's got more knuckleheads, more domestic violence, more DUIs than NHL, MLB, and NBA combined, and the MLS combined. Emilio Nunez, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. You're never late, Emilio. Whenever you join us is the right time. Mark is chiming in saying, sound is up here, okay? And say hello, okay? Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to all chiming in on it. All right, we got 1 hour down already. This is ridiculous. 12:30, Keith Smith, who covers the NBA for Real GM and Yahoo, is going to join us, so he'll give us his thoughts on this trade. At 2 o'clock, the man that covers the Heat for The Athletic, Andre Fernandez, will join us. When we start hour number 2, give me 2 minutes here to rest my voice, but in 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you about something else some Heat fans need to appreciate. We're going to remind you what that is next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodzie now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty, we are back. All right, we're going to start off our number 2 here on the program, coming to you live from the beautiful Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7, just a couple blocks south of that giant guitar off the turnpike. Come on by and say hi. Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, all the phenomenal people out here are ready to help you out. A hell of a selection. I tell you, they were moving a Supra to accommodate a Camry and all that in here. That Supra just, man, I wanted to jump in that Supra and haul ass. That's all I wanted to do. But anyway, we got a lot of things to talk about here on the show. Now, here's the other thing that I want to talk about. I know you have a friend, okay? I've run into maybe a couple of my friends. I've run into a lot of listeners over the last couple of years. Twitter guys, right? all this stuff. I've gotten it from different people. So, and I'm sure you know somebody. Maybe you are that person also. And now you got to check yourself before, because you've already wrecked yourself. Okay? Those people that now need to check themselves because they're not avoiding from wrecking. They already wrecked themselves. And those are the people that said Pat Riley's lost it. I mean, you heard that interview with Albert Ahmad. He broke it down. Okay, and in 25 years, Pat Riley had a really bad stretch for 2 years that he set the team back for a couple of years. Yes, he did. He screwed up, and I'm the first one to tell you he screwed up. But I was the first one to tell you, I don't care. You got to fight. We'll fight through it. We'll survive. Riley has earned the right to fight himself out of this hole. And it wasn't an easy hole because they were terrible contracts. And the first couple of years, nobody was touching those contracts. Now in these last 2 years, this year and now next year, now you have more flexibility, which is what you kind of expected, that more people would be willing to take on those contracts, either this trading deadline, the offseason, or next trading deadline. You knew you were going to get rid of them at that point. And so a lot of people gave up on Riley. There's a lot of you out there. Maybe some of you that are watching right now, maybe you'd, send in a text now. And by the way, don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the broadcast while you're watching. But a lot of you out there that gave up on Riley, where are you now? Maybe you want to apologize. Maybe you want to step up a little bit now. Because Riley, as you heard Albert say, he now is acquiring a couple pieces to get you better. Maybe get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They now are, I think they got a shot to get there now. Because I don't fear Toronto, Boston, or who am I missing? Philly. Okay? Milwaukee, they're on another level. It's going to be, you're going to need like Giannis to be banged up a little bit to advance past Milwaukee. But it is, I think, realistic enough to think that your pinnacle probably could be the Eastern Conference Finals, which would be one hell of a year. It would be amazing because this front office has found Duncan, has found Nunn, you know what I mean? Has found Carlos Silva, has found, who else am I missing? There's one more that I'm missing. Anyway, whatever. So, Tyler. And then, you're able to then make these moves for Butler, for Iggy, for Gallinari, to go with what you have already. Man, that's executive of the year material right there for the Miami Heat. The guy that some of you gave up on. And if you gave up on Riley, not only should you be apologetic, but do you feel guilty? Do you feel dirty? Because that's the part I never understood about the people that wanted to give up on Riley. Hey, look, you want to critique Riley? I'll do it. I got no problem. He deserves it, and he's good with that, by the way. Riley's the first guy to tell you I screwed up.
You actually have critiqued him pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
Been like, hey, screwed up.
He screwed
31 and 10.
Screwed up.
Went,
but never said give up on him. Never said fired. Never said he's lost his fastball. Never said any of that. Every time what I said is, you got to let him fight out of it because he's earned that right. He has. He's earned that right. Just like when Shula had a 6-10 year or an 8-8, which would happen, I don't know, out of his 30 years, maybe once out of every 10 years, he had one of those bad seasons that everything didn't go well and whatever. You didn't want to fire Shula. You didn't say, oh, the old man's lost it. No, you gave him the opportunity to come back because he's earned that right. And by the way, when we finally booted him out, I think we learned that all the guys that came after him still aren't better than him. Okay? So I learned my lesson, and I've mentioned this too, that Shula experience, because I was one of those idiots at the end of his thing well, yeah, no, salary cap is in. Shula's, there's a different game now, and maybe Shula's lost his fastball. Boy, were we wrong. He might not have been his best at that time, but still better than most of the stuff that you've hired since. You know what I'm saying? So
the only complaint really, and still holding on to Oliver Dottie as long as he did.
Sandusky was also, there was some moments there too. He did a couple.
To go from Arnsparger to
down the stretch, there were a bunch of things that didn't go well for him. The trade for Eric Green and Hugh Green he traded for and then blew out his knee, and you never really saw the real Hugh Green. And I could just go on and talk about all kinds of things that either he didn't do well with Sammy Smith, or you had bad luck with David Overstreet. Whatever. It was just one thing after another, and it just seemed to happen. But for whatever, we gave up on Shula, and we paid the price, okay? And I learned from that moment that, okay, well, if this ever happens again, I'm not giving up on the guy. And I saw people do that with Riley, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that this time. I made the mistake once. I learned my lesson. I'm staying with my wingman, okay? I'm pulling a Maverick. I'm not leaving my wingman. Okay, I'm staying here. I'm staying by Riley, and eventually he'll figure it out. And here he is. He's figuring it out, and he's getting through it, and he's doing things that we even haven't seen him do, which he has a youth movement going and developing young guys, which normally he would have shipped out all these ass young guys that got in and go get veterans to put them over the top. You know what I'm saying? So, kudos to Riley. He's adjusted too, kind of, with all of this. Now, maybe he had Wade, and he was young, but he was a young stud. Maybe that's what it is, that if he likes you as a young stud, then he'll stick with you. If he doesn't think there's stud in you, then he just moves you. I don't know. However you want to look at it. But for those of you that gave up on Riley, you were wrong. You were wrong. You need to apologize, okay? You need to post it on social media. You need to look at your best friend in the eye and say, that discussion we had about Riley, I was wrong, dude. That's what you guys need to do, because too many people out there gave up on the guy that brought you 3 titles, 5 trips to the NBA Finals, and brought you Wade and Shaq and Zoe and Timmy and Bosh and you name it, man. We could just keep going on and on and on and on and on. All the players that he's brought in 25 years, a lot of good players. And look, he just acquired Andre Iguodala. That I know he's not a star anymore at this point. He's probably a role player at this point, but a role player with championship pedigree. That's pretty studly. And that's exactly what Pat Riley is. Totally studly. Let me tell you about Moody S Dental, folks. Take advantage right now, man, whether you're looking for implants or Invisaligns like I'm doing. 305-821-0231. Go to the website, moodyesdental.com. They do it all there, state-of-the-art equipment. You're going to love it, man. They just really take care of the customer. That's the other thing that kind of stands out. There are, I think, 2 nights a week where they open till 8 o'clock at night. Why do they do that? Because, most dentist offices are closing at 5. But then that means every time you go to the dentist, a lot of you have to take a day off, half a day off. And so you're losing money or you're losing a half a day. Well, there's a couple days a week where they stay open late. So those folks that don't want to miss a day of work, or can't miss a day of work, can't miss half a day of work because they've got to earn their money, they can go after work over to Moody S Dental. That's good stuff there, man. I went the other day because I actually had an earlier appointment. I had to push it back. And I went in later on at 6 o'clock, and it was so convenient to be able to do that. That's why you want Moody S Dental. Great people. Go see Eric out there. 305-821-0231 for moodyesdental.com. Let's see. SoFlo fan says, hey, Big O, your last interview was outstanding. I learned a lot. Well, Albert is excellent, man, and I always bring him on when we have these kind of moments where there are moves made, and come on, man. You don't follow the cap the way the teams do. I follow it a little bit, but not to the extreme of Albert. Albert knows all the nuances of the cap and everything that they're trying to overcome, and then he can explain it to us dummies, because I'm certainly a dummy, and we can understand it. So thank you for the compliment. I'm sure Albert will appreciate it. Kudos to the Miami Heat ownership for letting Pat Riley do his thing. User Tom says, none. Thought on Hill and Crowder to Miami. Thoughts on Hill and Crowder to Miami. Is it for sure that Jay Crowder's coming? I have not seen that yet. Is that? Are you assuming that? Let me look it up here and see if there's been a Woj bomb of that. Let me see what we got here. If Miami and Oklahoma City can reach a deal now on Gallinari, there's still time to make a 3-team trade, but those talks are fully stalled, league sources tell us. Ooh, Gallinari stalled. Miami has agreed to trade Justice Winslow, Dion Waiters, and James Johnson to Memphis for Andre Iguodala, Solomon Hill, and Jay Crowder. League sources tell us no picks in the deal. All right, so the picks would be with the Gallinari thing. So you get rid of Justice, Dion, and James Johnson. I freaking love this. Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, by the way, has had some moments this year. Those are 2 expiring contracts. So you don't have to worry about it. They're role players that give you depth. But I do like Jay Crowder as a guy off the bench to help you out. And he is wired for this team. He plays defense, all of that. I like Jay Crowder. And Solomon Hill's not a bad role player off the bench for you too. So I'm all right with all those moves. I really am. And again, you had to take salary in because you're giving up 3 big salaries. The amazing part to me is that Memphis likes Justice Winslow so much, they're willing to take Dion and James Johnson all the way through the 2021 season. That's amazing, man. Wow. Because I don't like Justice Winslow that much to take on those contracts. Now, they do expire in a year and a half, so you figure, okay, well, then we'll get rid. Now, they probably have the flexibility. They don't care. They're not really. Memphis, you got to remember, Miami stays flexible because they can be a player in free agency. Memphis is not ever going to be a player in free agency. So maybe that's why they say, that's all right if we're kind of capped out for the next year and a half, and then we'll get some flexibility after those contracts are off our books. So probably that's why it's going that way. Memphis and Miami are focusing on a 2-team deal. Okay, Miami and Oklahoma City still unable to reach an agreement on a 3-team trade that would land Danilo Gallinari with the Heat. League sources tell ESPN. Talks are fluid until 3 p.m. All right, so at least they made the Iggy deal and they unloaded 3 contracts. Because let's be honest, while Winslow is young, he has now become a burden of a contract now. Right? I mean, that's really what's going on. And that's why Miami was willing to move Winslow now. At the beginning of the year, you're thinking this is one of those pieces that we need to build on. But as the injury continues and as he continues to miss time, then this is what you get from all of this. And you get a player that you can't rely on. And so if he can't rely on this player, then move him, man. Plus the emergence of all these other young players. I mean, look at Derek Jones Jr. That's another young guy I forgot to mention. It's not just Duncan and Tyler and Silva and what is it? Who am I missing now? I forgot to mention. None, Silva, Tyler, and Duncan. And then you add also Derek Jones. Derek Jones, what was he yesterday? 3 of 5 from three-point range. 25 points, which I believe was a career high for him last night. He had 3 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 9 rebounds. And he does a lot of the things that Winslow does. The ball handling part is not in his forte. Okay, so that's not one thing that he does really well. But he's a better shooter than Winslow. He's more reliable. He's had his share of little injuries here and there, but not like Winslow. Justice Winslow has broken down just an incredible amount of times. And that's the problem. I as a Winslow fan, you got me off your bandwagon when you're unreliable. Can't do anything about that. So the Justice Winslow move now that we know it's a strict trade between Memphis and Miami and we're done now, all right, we're good. I like Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill for now as role players and expiring contracts when it's all said and done. Let's see. John says, Waiters went to Grizzlies. Okay, I got you. La vaca lechera se fue del parque. All right. I like the new Vincent guy. Oh, Gabe Vincent. Yeah, he had 9 points last night. If you want to develop to play basketball, go to Sioux Falls. Hey, listen. With the Heat now, when they tell us we acquired a new guy in Sioux Falls, and then they bring him over in a two-way contract, you no longer like, yeah, whatever. He's just, fodder, back of the end roster. You don't even do that anymore with them. Right now you're like, okay, who is this guy? I want to find out more about him. Why? Because we have this track record now of guys that come out of Sioux Falls and become NBA players, man. I mean, it's impressive. It really is. Were you going to say something?
No, it's just the whole organization says the same thing from top to bottom like we talked about, and that's why the guys are able to plug in and hit the floor running, man.
Yeah.
What they say over there is the same thing you say over here.
Right. They find the right people that fit, and they got in their funk where they found, Whiteside and Dion that don't fit, but, now they're finding the right guys, which I like. I feel like Hill and Crowder are going to be trade bait for Gallinari. I'm not sure about that. You might be right. I mean, I can't completely. Although I wonder if you just traded for them, are you allowed to trade them right away? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. Now, they could be trade bait because you do have to give up some salary. Because if you're taking Gallinari in, you have to give something back. So Solomon and Jay Crowder could be part of that. You're probably right. I mean, what other salary is left? They don't have another bad salary, actually. So that has to be, you know what? That has to be the case. It has to be like a second rounder and those guys. I wonder if Gallinari is not willing to agree on the 2021 option out for the team. And maybe that's why he's staying there. I don't know. We'll see. Waiters gone too. Oh, my Xmas in February. I'm with you, Ian. Flipside Fishing says, just heard they dropped the charges on Xavier Howard. Yes. Amber Wilson, I think, broke that story on X getting the charges dropped. Let's see. Michael Garcia, I need a rack. Well, hey, man, you got to call Eddie Pereira. Pallet Rack City. You want me to give you the number? I can give you the number if you want. Let me get the number here because I know I don't have it memorized because my memory's shot. 305-887-9212. That's 305-887-9212 if you want a great rack. Pallet Rack City. Mike Pellegrino says yes. Xavier Howard charges dropped. Yes. User Tom says Hill and Crowder and cash for Gallinari, but we'll see. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense that you would make because right now there aren't any other salaries that you want to move on this team. You got rid of all the – wow. I can't believe they got rid of James Johnson already and Dion Waiters. How long does it take Dion Waiters to say something negative about the Heat?
About a half a minute.
Right? I mean, come on. He'll wait till everything's official by the NBA and then send Pat Riley an FU or something like that.
The thing that's amazing, we all thought that we were stuck, that we had no wiggle room to move, and Riley figures it out, man. The guy just he is the Heat, man. He is the backbone.
Look, there's some risk with all of this. It's short-term risk because it's a contract you can get out of. in another year from Iggy, kind of like that you were stuck with James Johnson anyways and Dion for another season anyway. So now you get a guy that, has incredible knowledge, incredible experience, and hopefully at 36 he still has some good basketball left that he can help you out. Now, he's old. He'll be 37 next year. He could break down, and then that could be a really bad deal for you because he doesn't help you out nearly as much. So there is risk to it. It's not like this is a cakewalk for them, okay? Now, here's the other thing. What I wonder about, if not Gallinari, is there another target for the Heat out there that they now start moving over to and saying, okay, well, we can move Solomon and Jay for this guy instead? I don't know. We're going to find that out.
Iguodala, right now, active players in the NBA. He has got the third highest amount of playoff games under his belt.
Oh, yeah.
He's like at 140-something. And that experience is going to go a long way with our young guys.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about that. Iguodala, I saw the stat yesterday, and I stole it from the screen. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. Oh, playoff minutes. Iggy has 4,727. The entire Heat team, 4,209. And that's what? All Butler and Dragon. That's it. And I don't know if they included UD. Because obviously that's a lot of minutes too with UD.
I'm willing to bet that, yeah, they did.
I mean, but, okay, yeah. Not in recent years when they made the playoffs, but in, latter years, if they included UD, okay. So UD, Butler, and Goran, and yet Iggy still has more playoff minutes than those three guys. That's a lot, dude. Because UD made a lot of playoffs. A lot. Okay?
Oh, we got to get Keith on the phone, sir.
All right, we will continue our basketball talk. Keith Smith, who works for RealGM.com. Excellent website. If you love basketball and you follow it, RealGM is a really good site. He also works for Yahoo. You can follow him on Twitter, Keith Smith, NBA. Excellent work, as always. We'll get his thoughts on the new developments of this trade because now only one part of the trade has gone through. The other one, Gallinari, is on ice. Keith Smith from RealGM joins us next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to WelcomeToRockvilleFestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to WelcomeToRockvilleFestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. The Heat are making some news, so we will continue our basketball talk. Keith Smith does an excellent job covering the league for RealGM.com and for Yahoo. He's a must-follow like I and so many others do. We follow him at Keith Smith, by the way. I'm getting my offensive lineman mixed with my reporter. Keith Smith, MBA, on Twitter. Make sure you follow him there. Keith, good afternoon, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm good, and don't worry about it. I'm built a little like an offensive lineman, so I'll take it.
All right, there you go. All right, so the Dolphins need some help, so if you want to come on down and also help out there, that would be a positive for us there, my friend. That would be good.
Sure, yeah. We'll see how that goes for them.
I love it. All right, so Keith, new development now. It looks like the Gallinari Heat talks have stalled a little bit. First of all, have you heard why? Is it maybe he doesn't want to do that option deal that Iggy was willing to do with the Heat so they can maintain flexibility, money? Have you heard anything why talks have stalled?
Yeah, what I heard earlier this morning was that there were two components. Miami was having trouble meeting the asking price for Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was going to have to take on a little bit of money probably into next season for if they were going to do this trade, and they weren't overly interested in that. They wanted to loosen up the pick protections and get an additional pick. They were going to trade Gallo. And then you had the Gallo portion of the extension, and he wanted a little bit more money. He wasn't big on the non-guaranteed second year and those kind of things. He's at a point in his career where it's about years just as much as it's about dollars. So we'll see what that ultimately looks like. If that can be revived. It's a little harder now because you can't aggregate salaries from guys who just came in like Crowder and Hill. So you're just not able to put them together with any other salary. Miami could still make it happen, but that probably means they're going to have to pay a much bigger price if they're going to go back to that level.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is they can't trade Crowder and Solomon Hill right away with another player. They can trade them. Those two on their own for whatever player, but they cannot add a third body to a move. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. When you're over the salary cap and you acquire players in a deal, you can't then aggregate those players together with other salary. Part of the way the NBA keeps teams from doing what they call step-up deals, where you acquire smaller salary, put them together, bigger salary. That's not allowed. You got to wait at least 60 days. Obviously, we don't do that. That's not going to happen now because we're not even 60 or a couple hours from the trade deadline. So that's impossible. They could move them separately, and they could still do it as part of a bigger trade with Oklahoma City where they move one of them by themselves to OKC, but it all gets reported as one bigger trade. So it's not impossible. They just can't put those guys together to match salary for Gallinari by himself.
All right. So Keith, have you heard, is there a plan C now? Because obviously Iggy was A, Gallinari was B. That looks like it's sounding more and more like that one's kind of dying. So have you heard another option that Miami may have?
I haven't heard any other options. I think that's part of why they got Jay Crowder in the deal. Jay Crowder's a good player, can absolutely help them. And he's got that kind of gritty, tough approach that the Heat love in players too, that self-made hard worker. He's going to go out there and battle every night. So I think they're really happy to have him. I think that was part of why they were content to take Crowder into there. Solomon Hill might even help them a little bit. Probably not. He's probably going to be more of an end of the bench depth guy for the Heat. So I think they, if they're done, I think they're pretty happy. I personally am in the camp that I think Jay Crowder will have more of an impact this season than Andre Iguodala will, because we've seen Crowder do it all year for Memphis, where Iguodala, we're hopeful he has a lot in the tank and is ready to play, but we don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's and I agree with you. Hill, I think, is going to be a guy that he's going to be James Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, okay, there's a bunch of guys injured. There's some foul trouble. Okay, now we need you, Solomon, basically. But I think you make a great point. Crowder is a Heat-type player. I mean, he is built. He will not have problems with strong practices, playing hard, playing the team game. This guy's a perfect fit for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, absolutely. He's somebody they're going to love. The Heat fans love Jimmy Butler. Well, Crowder is a less skilled version of Jimmy Butler, and that's not a knock on him at all. I mean, most players are less skilled than Jimmy Butler, so I think they'll be happy with him. I also wouldn't be surprised if he's somebody that he can do well here down the stretch of this season and into what will maybe be a good playoff run for Miami. If he's somebody they look to keep in the summer, he doesn't have a huge cap hold because he's coming off a very good value contract, and you might be able to get him on a similar value contract again this summer. So I wouldn't be overly surprised if he plays well for them, if he's somebody that they keep around. It's all going to depend on, they put themselves in a position to have some cap space now this summer where they could build around Butler and Bam and do maybe a couple things, even with the Iguodala extension, where they might not be necessarily keeping all these free agents around, but we'll see. A lot of flexibility traded for Miami going into the summer as well in this trade.
Keith Smith, of course, from RealGM.com and Yahoo. You can follow him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. Overall, how do you see this deal? Because a lot of people are skeptical because Iguodala is 36 years old. So the question is, how much does he have in the tank? Although this year you got to figure, Keith, well, he hasn't played half a season and a preseason, so he's going to be pretty fresh for you, at least down the stretch. But the question is, at 37 next year, how much of a risk is this for the Heat in your eyes?
Yeah, it's definitely a risk because of that year next year. The second year of the extension, that's non-guaranteed. We're not going to worry about that because if all goes south, they can get out of that very easily. Right. But it's next year. That's the gamble. Is you paid him money to hopefully get him in this year and play pretty well for you, and then we'll see what happens in the off season. So what's going to be interesting is to see just how he comes in. You're right. He should have pretty fresh legs, so we'll see what that looks like. But there's also the side of, is he in true NBA shape? I mean, he looks to be in great physical shape, but that's different from being in basketball shape. And when you haven't played all year, expecting the guy to come right in and be ready to go, that's a little questionable. I wouldn't be surprised even if we don't see him actually playing a game for maybe a couple weeks here. And he comes in, gets through some practices, and does that. Yeah, it's just tough to ask a guy, who's been sitting on the couch. He's obviously been working out, but to jump right into the middle of a playoff race and be impactful. That's why, again, I think Crowder is a guy who is probably going to help out quite a bit there.
Oh, I'm with you. I think it's extremely risky to just throw a guy like Iggy right there right away. Because I heard him say, well, I'm going to need a couple days. And I'm like, no way, dude. You're going to need a couple of weeks. This is the Heat, brother. They are all about conditioning, and you've got to be at a certain level. Some other franchises, yeah, they might speed it up and give you a couple days and throw you out there. The Heat's not that franchise, man. Your body fat's got to be at a certain level. Your conditioning has got to be at a certain level. The demands, it, Keith. The demands here are completely different than most NBA teams.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to put you on the floor unless you're absolutely ready to go and be helpful. And they also don't do a lot of teams. They would take a guy like Iguodala and say, you know what, we're going to throw him 10 to 15 minutes a night to kind of play himself back into this shape. He's going to have to prove that on the practice court before he ever sees a minute in a game. I'm
with you there. All right. Keith Smith, NBA. Is on Twitter. Keith, all right, what other deals are you expecting to maybe go through here by 3:00? Are we going to see a lot of activity? What do you think?
I think we're still going to see a handful of smaller deals. I don't think we're going to get any blockbusters. We're getting a little late in the day or no news at all to have broken on that. But I think what ultimately this is going to happen, what we'll see is a handful of smaller deals get done, because I think what's gonna come down here is that a guy like Marcus Morris, I don't think the Knicks keep him past the 3 p.m. deadline today. I think he's absolutely going to get moved because they're not creating a bidding war. Let's not go that far with it, but I think they're going to move on from him. And then you've got a lot of these other contenders, teams that are in the mix, like the Lakers, the Celtics, the Bucks, they're looking for smaller upgrades. And there's a lot of guys out there from bad teams that that there is a chance for them to move on from as well. So we'll ultimately see what that looks like. But I think we're going to get a handful of smaller type deals that maybe don't get people really excited right now, but when we're looking back on them a month or two from now, we're like, that was actually a pretty solid move at the deadline.
I'm with you there. All right, so let me ask you, Keith, here's the other thing that I would say. While the Gallinari move looks like it may be dying right now, and we talked about the risk with the Iguodala move, even though he's younger, I think the Gallinari move actually had way more risk than Iggy. I think Gallinari's had a ton of injuries. That's the one thing that kind of scared me about that deal. I like him. I like him as a shooter. He fits this league so well. But that's the one thing that if you were going to commit to him, and I wonder that's why maybe that stalled, right? Because the money they had to kind of balance and say, well, wait a minute, this guy's injury history, we can't go too high on this number.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You were going to have to commit there, a good chunk of change over the next couple of years. And you hit the nail on the head with his injury history. That is, huge risk. There's also the fact that he's not a great defender. So you're going to put him out there and basically give opponents a place to attack. And when your goal is to beat the Miamis, the Bostons, Torontos, Philadelphias of the world, the last thing you need is for them in a playoff series to be able to isolate and get him matched up. That playoff basketball is all about matchups, and you really can't get by with guys who can't hold their own defensively out there, and that's a little tough because you could scheme around him some and make it work because the Heat have a lot of other good defenders, but I'm sure that factored in a little bit as well.
Yeah, and listen, when you've got Goran Dragic out there, if both those guys are going to come off the bench, woo, doggy, that's ole, ole, ole. Those guys are like matadors out there playing defense, brother.
Yeah, now on the flip side, they sometimes give as good as they get too, because they'll go out there and get you a whole bunch of points on the other end. And a lot of times when you come right down to it, you want your bench guys to just come in and keep it even. They don't necessarily have to turn the tide every game out there, but yeah, there's definitely places to attack. We saw that when the Celtics played the Heat. What was that? Last week, I believe it was. Boston was able to get Duncan Robinson isolated quite a few times. They went at Goran Dragic a few times. They got Myers Leonard in switches, and that's tough. The last thing Miami wanted to do is create another attack point for the opponent.
Keith, I know that Riley gets the meeting with everybody because it's Riley, so everybody respects the Godfather and they give him the meeting. And whether it's been the kid that went to Boston and suffered the injury, and I'm brain farting now, or right, or Durant, or all these guys, they always give him the interview. So I would imagine that the Freak is going to give him that interview in 2021 when he's a free agent. But how realistic, what kind of percentage do you put it on that he's actually going to leave Milwaukee, go somewhere else, and that somewhere else be Miami? I know it's an attractive place, but how attractive is it for him to leave the place that can give him the most amount of money and the place that he's comfortable with right now? It just seems like he's, everything's kind of settled in for him there. So should we get excited down here about that chance?
Yeah, I'm cautioning anybody from the fan base, whether it be Miami or Los Angeles or New York, to get overly excited about Giannis because he just built a little bit differently. He loves Milwaukee. He loves being a Buck. That's been his home, not only in the NBA. This is easy to forget. That's been his home in the United States since he came here, and that's not anything that guys can walk away from really easily. I think your best hope is that you want to see the Miami Heat beat the Bucks in the playoffs either this year or next and start to turn it into something where all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm questioning, can I get this done here in Milwaukee? Because if Milwaukee continues to be this juggernaut regular season team and can actually turn that into playoff success, the chances of Giannis ever walking away get much, much lower because he's on a good team, he's on a title contender, and they can pay him the most. Well, those are all the things that players look for. And let's not forget when people say, well, small market. He became an MVP and a global superstar there. Market size just doesn't matter when you're as good as Giannis.
Keith Sims, of course. Keith Sims, I keep saying. Keith Smith, of course, from RealGM.com and Yahoo, joining us. All right, so let me move over from the Heat. The Knicks just made some noise. they hired Leon Rose, the agent, to run their basketball operations. What do you think about this move? Because obviously the Pelinka thing has kind of been the motivating factor here, and they're kind of copying what the Lakers did. Your thoughts on Leon Rose taking over and moving into a position like this?
Yeah, I have a little bit of fear that the Knicks are trying to take a shortcut, which is something they've been doing for, let's call it, 2 decades now, as they try to rebuild that thing back into a major contender. So I'm a little bit nervous that that's what's happening again here, because it's not. We don't know how Leon Rose will do there. We don't know who all he's going to bring on with him. I know Worldwide West is mentioned to be joining him in New York, so we'll see what that ultimately looks like. But I think what you look at is when you start saying, well, this could be another Bob Myers or another Neil O'Shea who made the jump. Those guys did their time as number 2s on their respective teams, and they worked their way up into that big job. And agents they do a lot more work as far as preparing for how to build a team up than they're given credit for. But the reality is it really, the jump there? We'll see ultimately how it looks out. I'm just a little afraid, like I said, that this is another shortcut towards, well, he reps all these guys. Maybe we can start getting in on those players.
Right, exactly. And listen, I still think it's a lot better. I think, James must have been doing some, serious dope while he's jamming with his band because the thought of Masai Ujiri leaving Toronto, where he's a god in that city, in that country, where he's got a team that is one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference again, and for him to go work for that guy and to try to rebuild this whole thing. And I know everybody keeps saying, well, if you build it in the Mecca, you will be a god. Man, this guy's already a god. He doesn't need to go to the Mecca. He's got all of Canada, man. I mean, I just thought it was a crazy story, Keith.
Yeah, it wasn't overly likely that was ever going to happen. And the main reason why was the Raptors, they weren't going to let him out of his contract without being paid significantly to do so. And that would have been, so now you're saying, hey, Masai, come take over our team. We just traded away 2 or 3 first-round picks to get you here. Like that, those things don't match up, right? He's going to be the one who's making those trades. The only reason that it made a little bit of sense is he is obviously a guy who embraces and welcomes the challenge. But I think what needs to be looked at is that Toronto team, as great as they're playing right now, and I love the way they've come out and defended their championship. They're really getting after it. They basically said, Kawhi Leonard, you left us. We don't care. We're still tough. We're going to be right here getting after them. But what I want to caution is they're aging out a little bit. You've got Gasol, Ibaka, Lowry. In a couple years, Masai has his challenge right there in front of him in Toronto without leaving, and he's already starting from a pretty good place with guys like Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet. So we'll ultimately see, is that enough of a challenge for him there? Or at that point, is that where he says, all right, hey, Toronto, I delivered for you. Now I'm stepping away, and I'm going to go do something else somewhere.
And by the way, Keith, I'll let you go with this. It would have been funny if they would have made that move for Masai and give up, like 3 or 4 first rounders, because basically you're making the same mistake you did with Melo when you traded for him, when you just could have waited for him to be a free agent, but Melo had to have his money and his bird rights and all that crap, so he had to get traded. That's the only way, but he got traded, and then he had no team around him, and Denver had the team. It kind of the same scenario, same thing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You got to be really careful when you make these all-in moves that you leave enough to work with behind. That's why, when you see the reason why Miami could swing big for a guy like Jimmy Butler is because they had some good young talent that's cost-controlled and on smaller deals. That's important. That's why they can feel good about, I'm going to go get Andre Iguodala. I'm going to bring in Jay Crowder, because when you have those good contracts for that are smaller and cost-controlled, you can do those bigger deals and feel a little bit better about it. When you're only talking, I got to move everything out to bring in this one guy, leave nothing behind, the track record of that working out is pretty slim. We don't see it go that way very often.
No doubt about it. Hey, Keith, thank you for taking some time, man, dropping the knowledge. We really appreciate it. Keith Smith, NBA on Twitter. Catch his work at realgm.com and at Yahoo Sports. Keith, thank you for taking some time. Look forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. My pleasure. There you go, man. Good stuff from Keith Smith. And getting, again, another perspective on all of that with the Miami Heat. On top of it for you here on the program, Andre Fernandez will join us in the fourth hour at 2 o'clock at the top of the hour. He is covering this Miami Heat team. We're headed down the home stretch, obviously, because 3 o'clock will be the deadline, and so we'll find out where we stand with any other trade, if it's Gallinari or something else. But you kind of see now they can't move both players. You know, when you can't move both players with a third piece to kind of then meet the money that you need for Gallinari. Now, remember what Namad was saying. They would have to, in order to trade a first rounder, they would have to then unprotect that first rounder, and then that gives them the flexibility to add that first rounder in a move if they're going to do that. So there are different things that Miami can do. Or is there a Solomon Hill trade with something else for a smaller player to help you out here since you couldn't acquire Gallinari? And the interesting part is, what is it that's stopping this trade with Gallinari? Is it all about money? Is it about that third year? Because I'm sure the Heat are saying, hey, look, man, we'll give you an extension like Iggy, but we can't guarantee the second year. You have to give us the flexibility of being able to go sign a star, because remember, this is what you're going to do. You're going to own their bird rights. If I'm correct here, this is where I need Albert Namad again. But if I'm correct, since you're going to own their bird rights, you can then sign the big star under the cap that you will have, the space, and then sign Iggy on top of all of that to go over the cap because he's your own player. But first you have to acquire and fit under the cap the star that you're going to sign in free agency. So like Namad was talking about, that you're going to have 30-something to $50 million available under the cap. Well, whatever that number ends up being, that's the slot you have for a player. That's it. You cannot go over that, but you can go over to re-sign your own. So maybe there's a wink, wink. Hey, we get our star, we'll re-sign you on top of all of that, and you'll be part of our run. But we own your bird rights, so we can do that. That's something that they didn't own with Whiteside. That's why they were stuck in a rock and a hard place, and they had to decide, do we pay him or do we let him go and think, if he ends up being a good player, he'll be a good player for somebody else. And Riley's love for big men, that's probably why he did that. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. We're out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 and North State Road 7. Come on out here. Tell them that Big O sent you as always. Tell the salespeople out here, when you're out here to find a car, that we sent you. Tell them that to take care of you, because I say they're going to take care of you, because that's what they'll do out here at Toyota of Hollywood. I'm telling you. So come on out here to Toyota of Hollywood. Let me tell you about Choice Mortgage Bank. We love talking about Michael Kodsey. And, folks, we can still get you into state rates under 3.5% right now. 561-441-2730. That's 561-441-2730. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back for hour number 3 right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood Yes, sir. Bill and myself every Thursday out here for you. Come on by, say hi. We would love to see you, meet you. If you live, work in the area and you're close to 1841 North State Road 7, come on by every Thursday. We'll be out here rocking as we watch all these beautiful cars roll off the lot here at Toyota of Hollywood, where they will definitely make you one hell of a deal, which is a beautiful thing. It's always a beautiful thing. So the Heat make the move for Andre Iguodala, and Tim Legler addressed the move on ESPN. And Bill, can we hear from Tim Legler on the move by the Heat to add Andre Iguodala and what he thinks, and how he thinks this is a fit?
Man, he really moves the needle for me. There is no question about it because, look, first of all, defensively, he's going to have impact immediately. And when you miss half a season, who knows where his offense is going to be right away. And this is a guy who's never been known to be a great shooter, but he is a guy that makes big shots. He's a facilitator and a playmaker. And then, obviously, a game-changing defensive player on the perimeter. So those are the things he's going to be able to do right away. And he has already talked about how much he's looking forward to helping out their young players. And they've got a lot of young guys in their rotation. His IQ, the way he moves the basketball, he's going to make all of them better. He's going to make Bam Adebayo a better player, and he's had a breakout year to this point. I just think when you bring a champion into your locker room and a guy that plays the right way, the way Andre Iguodala does, it's something that absolutely moves the needle in terms of your ability to close the gap, make up some ground. The Heat are looking at the East right now, saying clearly, obviously, Milwaukee at 43-7, they're the top. They're the gold standard. But everybody else being lumped together, Miami trying to make moves now to separate from those teams and put together a team that they think will have enough depth and versatility to truly give Milwaukee and anybody else in the East a run for the money. And I'm buying into that with Andre Iguodala. I think any contender should have been going after Andre Iguodala.
Yep. Well, there you go. And the Heat ended up getting him, and I think it's a heck of a move, and the flexibility stays, which I love. And you know what? Here's the positive about signing Whiteside and Tyler and James Johnson. You learned a brutal lesson. Like, okay, we're not doing that to ourselves again. If we put ourselves in a lack of flexibility, it's because we added some stars. We're not going to commit to guys that are not stars, and we're not going to overcommit to guys that are going to hurt our flexibility in the future. So if there's one positive that comes out of James Johnson and Tyler and Dion and Whiteside, this is the one, man. This is the one that they learned their lesson, that they made a ton of mistakes, and they're not going to do it again. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. You got any questions, any comments there? You want to send it in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can send in your comments there on our YouTube chat board. We are out here at Toyota of Hollywood like we are every single Thursday from 11 to 3, hanging out here, having some fun. And Friday, by the way, tomorrow, the Heat are back in action. They will take on Sacramento at 10 o'clock. Panthers in action tonight, BB&T Center, 7 p.m. Las Vegas Knights with no Gallant are visiting the Panthers. So no Gallant in the mix. Interesting, huh? That guy gets fired a lot. A lot. Andre Fernandez will join us at the top of this hour here to get into a little something here. Oh, pull up Ed Reed. Ed Reed he addressed the media and talked a little bit about the kind of player he wants to see at the University of Miami.
If you don't want to be here, don't come here. If you don't want to work hard, don't come here. If you don't want to compete, don't come here. Not while I'm around. Not while these coaches are around. We didn't run from competition, our class, and a lot of other guys behind us. We was about that life. You come here, be about that life. Don't want to leave. Bleed the orange and green and go through those ups and downs that life gives you.
There you go. And the question is finding those kind of players. And finding those kind of players is harder now than it was when Ed Reed was playing. It's even hard. It was harder then than it was when Jerome Brown was playing. You know what I'm saying? It was harder, even harder then than it was when Stanley Shakespeare was playing. Probably lost a lot of you out there. Anyway, that's where this challenge is interesting. Now, you can find them because Nick Saban's finding them, right? He's finding kids that want to work hard, that are going to deal with tough coaching. Because Nick is, it's a twisted thing. He ends up having a pretty decent relationship with these kids, but he's going to put you through the ringer, okay? Because that's the way Nick does things, because he wants it done right, and he's a perfectionist. And so he's going to demand from you perfection, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But somehow or another, he's finding them. Dabo Swinney's finding kids that are balling and playing hard for him, and he's got pretty much character guys overall. I don't think I hear about a lot of Clemson players getting in trouble or anything like that. And so, for me, that's where this challenge lies for Manny Diaz and for Ed Reed and for Brett Lashley and all these cats on this football program. They clearly have been recruiting the wrong kind of young man. They've been recruiting the kid that is not willing to work hard enough. They are recruiting the kid that doesn't care enough. They are recruiting the kid that is selfish and self-centered. They are not recruiting the kid that actually wants to sacrifice, wants what's better for the team. And the problem is that in today's world, it's all about your brand and where you stand and all of that. And when you have too many of those kind of kids, it's really hard to actually have team success. Because remember, I just used that term, and that first part of the term is called team success, not individual success. And you've had too many guys that, Jeff Thomas. Here's Jeff Thomas after a loss in a bowl game. Here's Jeff Thomas putting on a highlight reel about himself. Listen, I'm old school. It's kind of what happened with the San Francisco 49ers. I get everybody plans for a party afterwards. But if you lost the Super Bowl, it shouldn't be a party. There shouldn't be Lil Wayne, and there shouldn't be people performing and all that. You got enough money. Just tell Lil Wayne, hey, here's your check. Have a great night. We don't want any music today. A couple cigars, some drinks. You want to talk, you want to mingle a little bit, and then get your ass back to your room or get your ass on the plane and go home. But dancing, partying, and celebrating after you lost, I'm not a big fan of that. And, that kid, Jeff Thomas, he's too immature. That kid has no shot at succeeding in the NFL if he doesn't grow up. None. If he's the same Jeff Thomas they had here, there's no way that guy succeeds. Not that he doesn't have the talent to succeed in the NFL, because he has it. But he doesn't have the level of maturity. And when you lose, it's not about your real dude. It's like, take some pride in your lack of team accomplishment. Care a little. Show that you care a little bit. You're doing that. You're telling me you don't care what the outcome of the game was. So that's going to be the challenge for Ed Reed and for Manny Diaz and the rest of these guys, is finding the guys that are truly dedicated to the program and really want to be there and really want to work hard and are willing to sacrifice for each other. Because in football, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to block for somebody. You're going to have to help somebody in something, whether it's in the film room, whether it's on the practice field, whatever you got to do. But there's something that you're going to have to do. Quarterback made a bad throw. You don't have a shot at the ball, but you have a shot at breaking the pass up. Well, that's what you do. You don't allow the DB to try to get the ball. No, you try to break that pass up. There's so many little things on a football game that are team things that you're doing to help your teammate out in order for your team to advance. And if you're not willing to do that, then you've got the wrong player. And that's what they've got to find. Whether it's a room full of tight ends or quarterbacks or running backs or defensive ends, the guys that are fighting for playing time, that's a good thing. It's a great thing for the university to have. But these players, there's a lot of them that don't want to fight. They want you to give it to them, and then after that, they want to just keep it when they haven't earned it or they're not living up to it. We'll find out if Ed Reed can find those guys, if Manny Diaz can find those guys, because that's how they're going to keep their job, and that's, more importantly, that's how they're going to have success next year and years to come, is by surrounding yourself with the right people. And clearly, even Mark Richt, a good man, he was not recruiting the right kids. They haven't recruited the right kids overall to the University of Miami in a long, long time. Do some good ones come through? Of course, man. Shaq Quarterman is a stud and a half, bro. That's a man. That's a pro in an amateur game. I'm not telling you he's the most gifted player in the world and he's Ray Lewis. All I'm telling you is you need to be wired like that guy in order to play for the University of Miami. And they haven't found enough of those guys. Let's see what we have here. Where do you find Buck Cherry at Vixens and Furs in Key West? I don't see these dates at all. Well, go to Vixens Gentlemen's Club, and it's there. In their events page, it's there. And you can buy tickets from them. You have to buy it from Vixens. I don't believe it's in Ticketmaster. And then the Furs is I saw it in Key West. So go directly to the Key West Theater website, or I'm sure that one's on Ticketmaster, and you can buy those tickets. It's probably there. I'm pretty sure of that. Check it out. Warriors trading D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves for a package including Andre Wiggins and a 2021 protected first-round pick, according to Woj. That's where Jimmy Butler's like, yeah, good luck to the Warriors on that one. Man, they signed D'Angelo and then right away, but you know what? They end up getting Wiggins and a first-rounder. That's interesting. That's probably what they wanted more than anything else. So by signing Russell, you got a guy to help you out, not do much, obviously, because the team sucks, but you then end up trading him and you get a first-rounder in return. That's actually not a bad thing. That's pretty good. That is pretty good right there. All right. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. The other way to reach out to us is on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. I am looking at Ticketmaster right now for the Furs, and it has Revolution Live. It has Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. It does not have the Key West Theater. So I'm wondering if the Key West Theater is not on Ticketmaster, just like Vixen's Nightclub, a Gentleman's Club. I know for sure on that one, you have to go to the Vixen's Nightclub one in order to find it. So I'm actually checking the Key West Theater for you and see if they have it there, like, directly, that you can buy it from them. And that's it. Because let me tell you, that concert would be a really cool concert at the Key West Theater. I got to do that one day, man. That's on my bucket list of just, not like a serious bucket list, but a little local fun bucket list. That's one of them I want to do. I want to go down to the Keys, go see a concert, have a good night at the Keys, go to sleep, hotel somewhere, wake up in the morning, and then come back the next day. That would be absolutely awesome. I would love that. Nico says, so Miami dumped the salaries of Tyler Johnson, James Johnson, Deion Waiters, Whiteside in 1 year while being a top 3 team in the East. It's so nice to have a great front office. Riley rules. I'm with you, man. Topic, Cinema in Key West? Topic? I don't know about that. I have no idea. Oh, Trombone Shorty is going over to the Key West Theater. Los Lobos on February 11th at the Key West Theater. How about that? Willie Nelson's at the Key West Theater on February 17th. All right. Ross Matthews, Kool and the Gang and the Village People at the Key West Theater, February 21st. Tom Papa, I don't know who that is. Let's see. John Lodge from the Moody Blues, the 25th. Man, they got a lot of concerts in that place. John Tesh, that's crazy. Would you admit that you went to a John Tesh concert? J.J. Gray. J.J. Gray's good, man. Go see J.J. Gray. He's there. When? The March 7th. George Thorogood and the Destroyers, March 8th. What date did I tell you it was? The Furs. I have it here in my notes from yesterday. Key West Theater, it's April 13th. So, John Mayall's going there, man. Wow. Man, they have a lot of bands in the Key West Theater.
Those people want to go down there and hang out in the Keys. And, we'll do a show and cover our costs.
That's fine. 38 special. Well, here it is. Psychedelic Furs. How about that? Is that Suavis or what? Key West Theater. Psychedelic Furs. There you go. Buy the tickets directly from Key West Theater. How about that? Man, that's a lot of bands they have. The Revivalists are going there April 18th. 10,000 Maniacs are going there the 25th. Without, of course, Natalie Merchant. The new singer doesn't do a bad job, by the way. She sounds all right. They do a decent job. I would like to see him with the new singer just to see, live, how does it sound? Overall. I mean, it's hard to be Natalie Merchant, you know what I'm saying? But wow, they have a lot of good shows coming to that Key West Theater, man. Oh, the Mavericks are coming. Oh, I really want to go to that one. That's a Sunday also. Have you ever seen the Mavericks? You got to check them out on YouTube, man. The Mavericks are actually really, really good. Revolution is going there. These people kick ass. Kevin Nealon, comedian. Wow, they do a really nice job at the Key West Theater. Damn, I got to go there for a couple concerts, not just one. How about that? There you go. That's Suavis with a smile. You guys can't complain about that. It was probably boring radio for you, but what the hell. I think the Cowboys saw this coming and convinced McCarthy to hold on to the OC this year. So if Dak holds out, he knows the terminology, scheme, etc. Vice putting a new system in this year. I don't know if that's the reason. He's responding to my Dak Prescott post yesterday, and you can check it out where this might be a blessing in disguise for the Cowboys on only tagging him for a year. Because if he wants $40 million, 35, he's not that quarterback. So I get it. Big O, you are Chris Greer, and on Chris Greer, and on draft night, Tua is there at number 5. The Colts call to trade their 1st and 13th overall and 2nd next year. What would you do, Eugene? Oh, I traded in a heartbeat. Trade in a heartbeat if they're going to give me all those picks. I wouldn't mind. Now, listen, I wouldn't take Tua. I would take an offensive lineman or a defensive end at that spot. That's probably the direction I would go in. But I would trade. If somebody wants to offer you all those picks for that injured dude, go for it. Go for it. No problem. At 13, and you draft somebody else and you move. Well, you got all those other picks too. So you'll be fine. I'm not the guy that's going to panic about the quarterback position. And I told you, I like some other guys that are kind of projects. I'm almost willing to take a chance on Anthony Gordon or Jordan Love or any of the other guys that I like as projects, because the guy with the hip that I know can pass, I don't think will ever stay healthy. What were you going to say?
If there's going to be somebody who's going to want to move up to 5 and get a quarterback,
Okay.
you know, and obviously with the Chargers, the Colts, and I forget the other one there. It's like somewhere between behind us to 13. I think there's 3 of them. Somebody's going to want to move up to 5 because the year the Bears went and got Trubisky, Kansas City did move up to 10 to get Mahomes.
Yep.
So I got to think somebody's going to want that 5, man, QB. And we should be able to move out and accumulate more picks. And with all our needs, that would be the thing to do.
All right.
Is it not smart for us to, if we could trade the pick and accumulate more picks, to do it every chance we get?
Oh, for sure. Yes. And
because with the bigger net, more players, you have a chance to hit on more guys, right?
Yes. I agree.
That's you're going to fail. So the more you get, the more you have a chance to come
fishnet
out.
approach, man.
Yeah, man.
Fishnet approach is the best.
Every chance we could trade out, we trade out every
Well, if
time.
they're going to give those kind of picks, like he said, if we're going to play fantasy football and all that, and they're going to give up that many picks, then yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's almost like Tunsil, you know?
Right.
They're going to give you the whole house, the yard, and the property around it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
We'll take it for sure. Load up, man. Load up. I keep telling you guys that this is the fastest way to get better again. Because think about it. You wiped out all your cap. You got 14 picks, all of that stuff. What would you have won with your regular talent? 7, 8 games? Maybe 9? And where were you going to go? Nowhere. You won 5, which is just a little under what you would have won, and now you have a whole future in front of you. Whereas if you kept everybody, you had no future. You had no cap space. You didn't have a lot of draft capital. You had whatever draft capital you normally get every year. You know what I'm saying? In fact, this year, they didn't have all their picks, right? So it was one of those deals.
Patriots have one of our picks.
Right. I mean, this past year is what I'm saying. The draft that they just had, they didn't have a full draft. I'm pretty sure. I think they had 6 picks, I think it was. So, you're talking about a team that was lacking a full draft. Now they've got 3 drafts coming up in April. I all this talk about everybody looking, a lot of people looking at it doom and gloom. That's why I looked at it with a smile, because before you know it, the Dolphins are going to be good again. It's going to happen. It's really weird, right, that I'm so positive that it's going to happen. I really like what's going on. I really do. Let's see. Flipside Fishing says Tropic Cinema in Key West. Oh, duh. Key West Theater. I know where that's at. Oh, there you go. Okay. It's not that hard to do, Natalie Merchant. It's not? All right. Well, then, listen, Drubo, if you can do Natalie, you got to record it, bro, and send it to us. I got to hear you do Natalie Merchant. She was an interesting cat on stage. Man, she was kind of an odd bird on stage. Some funky dancing, all that kind of stuff.
Artists have a tendency to be a little eccentric.
Yeah, especially
and
singers.
Out there, yes.
Especially singers. Singers, definitely. It happens to them a lot. Okay? A lot.
Was she odd in the, Bjork way?
No, not that far.
Not
that way off. No. It was her dancing that was kind of weird, the way she did it and all that stuff.
Was it like Elaine's? A full body upheaval?
Yeah.
Is that what he said? A full body up, Chuck?
Yeah, I would go with that. Yeah, I would go with something like that. You want to hear about something really, really cool? You know that we're going to go see Pearl Jam in October, right? We're really lucky. We're going to go in October. In April. We're going to go over to Oakland and see Pearl Jam 2 nights before we go over to Vegas for the week for the draft. And, hey, any of you out there that want to meet us out in the Oakland Coliseum for the concert, tell us, man. I'd love to have a beer with you and talk. So Pearl Jam, before they start their Gigaton tour and they release the album Gigaton, Pearl Jam is going to play in New York City for the first time in 3 years at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Okay? It'll be March 26th. The event will be hosted by SiriusXM and Pandora. The concert will air live on Pearl Jam's SiriusXM channel. Pearl Jam Radio, while right after the station will broadcast the band's new album Gigaton, which arrives the day after the show, March 27th. Pandora will also mark the arrival of Gigaton with a special Pearl Jam playlist, plus a Pandora story in which the band will share insights and stories about their new music and some of their classic songs. We are incredibly humbled and honored to take the stage at the legendary Apollo Theater, said Stone Gossard, one of the guitarists. We look forward to a memorable show to celebrate Gigaton and the 10-year anniversary of Pearl Jam Radio at SiriusXM. It's hard to underestimate the historical importance of the Apollo Theater to the history of American popular music and African Americans' preeminent role in its invention. We will play this special one-time show with those artists in mind. Tickets for the theater show will be available exclusively through SiriusXM and Pandora subscribers. SiriusXM subscribers will be able to win tickets through an on-air Pearl Jam radio contest or via email if they're approved email marketing from SiriusXM. There you go. How about that? That's a concert like the U2 one. Man, you want to go to the Apollo Theater to see Pearl Jam. That is awesome, man. That's a fantastic show right there, huh? Would you trade one of the ones in Oakland for it?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
But you won't trade both? Would you trade both Oakland performances for one at the Apollo? No, right?
Yeah,
No.
I got to go with 2.
Right.
Because you know that they're going to do, they don't
We're
do
gonna
the
see.
same
We're going to hear
set.
50
Yeah.
songs.
They do different sets.
We're going to hear 50 songs in 2
Right.
days.
Yeah.
I can't pass that up.
I'd give up one. I would give up. I would exchange
In a heartbeat.
yes, without it. Not
That's
even.
not
No,
even
hey,
close.
get over here. Come on. Here.
Because we're greedy. We still get our 2 sets.
Exactly.
Love it, man. But I saw that yesterday, and I was like, man, that is a cool concert to go to for Pearl Jam. That's fantastic. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, don't forget that our program is proudly brought to you by EJD Construction. Eric and John have been at this for a long time, man. Let me tell you, if you need custom home construction or major home remodeling, nobody better. These guys have been at it for a long, long time. He shows up there with a group of professionals to get the job done. Great communication with you, the owner, and the architects, so everything comes to fruition. And all you got to do is pick up the phone. The owner's cell number, call Eric right now, 305-318-4978. Tell Eric that Big O sent you, and they'll take care of you. 305-318-4978 for EJD Construction.
Jimmy Butler, obviously.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodzie now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. We take you, of course, till about 3. We'll be out here. Andre Fernandez is set to join us at the top of the hour. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on with the Miami Heat and all the changes that they've made. A couple of trades that they had to make, which, hey, man, what are you going to do? If you missed Albert Namad's interview, salary cap-wise, you're going to love it, man. It's as insightful as it gets. Keith Sims from Real GM Keith Sims. I keep saying that. Man, Keith, you have made such an impact on my life, dude. You're such a good dude, and being around you, you're always a nice guy. One of the best people I've ever met. One of the best players to cover too in a locker room, because that guy was always classy. Keith Smith, okay, from RealGM.com and from Yahoo. Okay, now let me just get that right. Okay, Keith Smith. All right, not Sims. Damn, I keep doing that. It's too funny. So anyway, he was excellent. Both of those interviews are already up as my man Bill is grinding away, which would be awesome. I'm seeing a story here. Let me see, because we talked about this whole. They brought up a scenario about Tom Brady taking Garoppolo's job, and that's I don't believe it will happen. But it says if Tom Brady wants the 49ers, would the 49ers want Tom Brady? That's what it says. It says Patriots quarterback Tom Brady will be a free agent in March, able to sign with any team. And if Brady determined to attend the Super Bowl next year as a participant, not a spectator, there aren't many spots that would give him clear chance to do that. One potential spot in a place not far from where Brady was raised, playing for the team he cheered for as a child, the San Francisco 49ers. With Santa Clara a mere 39 miles from his hometown of San Mateo, with the 49ers currently loaded on both sides of the ball, Brady may be fascinated by the possibility of pursuing ring number 7 with the franchise that would match the Patriots with ring number 6. So, what if Brady calls GM John Lynch and or coach Kyle Shanahan and makes it clear that he's interested? The often ignored tampering rules would require slightly more discretion than that, but it would be easy for Brady to send the message. What would the 49ers say if they could swap out Jimmy Garoppolo for Brady? It's an intriguing prospect, to say the least. He doesn't fit the offense. Some will say, others will respond by saying, make the offense fit him. Here's the real question. The 49ers fans objectively need to ask themselves, would the 49ers have won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady at quarterback? If Lynch and Shanahan resolve the question in the affirmative, they may also think that they'd be more likely to win the next one with Brady. However it plays out, the structure of Garoppolo's contract gives the 49ers until April to make a decision on that day, because they can get out of it 2 weeks after free agency. Interesting. Now, when you think about this scenario, here's the part that's kind of interesting, and we don't bring it up because it's different, okay? San Francisco is not a Super Bowl winning team like the Warriors were. But when Durant said, well, you know what, I can't win it here at OKC, I'm going to go join the Warriors, who already won a title, but they had just lost after their 73-win season. They couldn't complete that great season with the championship. They added Durant the following year, and then the rest is history. They go on and win a couple titles. So you look at that, and we kill Durant, right, for taking the easy way out. And I don't, but in general, a lot of people kill him. I'm not one of those, because you still have to perform, and he went and performed, and he was the best player on the court. Now, if Tom Brady goes to the San Francisco 49ers, is he ring chasing? Now, we say he's not, of course. Why? Because Garoppolo did not complete the job. He failed in that fourth quarter badly. He had opportunities to make plays. Players had opportunity to make plays too, and everybody failed in that game. The coach also did not call the right game. There were many factors. It's not all on Garoppolo. That's a bunch of BS. That's not fair to him either. But it's interesting how we won't label Brady as ring chasing. Why? Because he's won 6 rings on his own. And he's carried some teams. He's obviously made everybody better around him. And San Francisco did not win last year. So they're still trying to figure it out. And if you put yourself in San Francisco's spot, when you think about this, and you're Shanahan, and you're Lynch, you have to ask yourself, is this the right guy? because your window closes, and if you spent your next couple of years trying to win it with Garoppolo and you fail, you will regret not making the move for Brady. Because with Brady, you know he's proven, been there and done it. He didn't have enough around him. In San Francisco, he would have more than enough around him to succeed. And he would be the piece they need to get over the hump. And on the flip side, Brady would also shed a little bit of that Belichick shadow. Because, a lot of people say, well, Brady wins because of Belichick and because, the system and all that they've designed for him and all. But if he goes somewhere else where it's a different system, a different coach, a different team, and they hadn't won the title, and he lifts them to that title, I mean, he becomes a super GOAT on top of all of that. It's an interesting story. I don't think it's going to happen whatsoever. Okay, I still believe that Brady is going to go back to the Patriots when it's all said and done. I told you from the get-go, I think this is a power ploy by him. But since we're going to have fun talking about these, silly-ass stories, and at least with this one, compared to the Chargers and the Raiders, now that one's a joke. I can entertain this one. I can make a case for this one. I can't make a case for you joining the Raiders or the Chargers. I can't. I don't even think you'll win with those teams. And if I'm Brady, man, if I'm leaving Belichick and that team and that owner, I better go to a team that's got a freaking great owner. Okay? I better go to a team like that, because if I don't, then I'm just setting myself up for failure, basically. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show, of course. Follow us there because, as we say, that is a 24-hour talk show there on Twitter. And we always appreciate all of you out there for supporting us, however you support us, downloading the shows, watching the shows, listening to the shows, all that good stuff. We really, really appreciate it. And we are very fortunate to have that. Heat-wise, we have not seen anything lately here. Let's see what we have here basketball-wise. Timberwolves, by the way, their 2021 pick is protected to number 3 and becomes unprotected in 2022 in their trade for Wiggins and D'Angelo. Minnesota kept pushing for Russell, who it has wanted since summer, free agency, and finally got the point guard, Gerson Rosas. Imagine pairing with Cat. Also, Woj is reporting that Houston has traded Jordan Bell to Memphis for Bruno Cobasio. Source tells ESPN teams exchange second-round picks too. That's a minor deal. Memphis, by the way, has the right to swap the least favorable of Dallas and Miami's second-round picks in 2023 for Houston's second-round pick in 2023, as long as Houston's pick is not 31 or 32, according to Woj. More Woj bombs. Clarification, Minnesota's second-round pick is going to Golden State in 2021, not 2022. And Portland is trading Sky Labuschagne and cash to Atlanta, league sources tell ESPN. Woj bombs continue. That guy's amazing, isn't he? That guy just doesn't stop. He is awesome. He's a machine. He is the machine. It isn't Pujols. The machine is Woj. I'm telling you. Let's see, what else do we have here? Ty from the Bronx says, Big O and Bill, good afternoon, fellas. Ty chiming in. We like it. And then Ty goes on to say hi to everybody else also that he knows on the chat board. That is awesome. Don't forget, for those of you out there watching, give us a thumbs up while you're watching the broadcast. We always appreciate that. Share the broadcast on social media, Twitter, on Facebook. Tell people about it. Hey, We got a daily talk show here. We give them 4 hours. Well, sometimes. I mean, yesterday we went 4:30. Yesterday we did 4 hours and 30 minutes. It was amazing. I don't know. Do we do 4.5 hours today again, Bill? You want to do that? Are you in the mood for 4.5?
It's up to you, man.
He's a rock. He's rocking with me right here, baby. No, I think we'll stop somewhere in that 3.5 to 4 hour range. Is probably where we'll stop today. I don't have nearly as many subjects today. I'm actually really grateful that the trade happened because obviously it's better for the Heat.
Riley's just trying to help you out with
the
show.
Yeah, exactly. Riley just helping me out with the show, which is huge. You know what? There is something I do want to talk about. Pete Rose. Let me get a little bit into Pete Rose because Pete addressed, he had an interview with ESPN. And obviously, Pete has been banned from baseball. He's been banned now for 30 years. Okay? And there is something funny in this interview, and I'll get to it in a minute. But Pete obviously sees the landscape that's going on, right? We've had the steroid guys that are cheating. Now we have the Houston Astro guys that are cheating signals with some elaborate crap that just gave you obviously a huge advantage at home when you're able to get away with that. So it looks like, Pete thought maybe this would be a good moment to kind of state his case, reach out to the new commissioner. Maybe that new commissioner will give him a break and get him in there, right? So he did an interview. And in the interview with ESPN, they asked him about lying to Major League Baseball.
Well, sure. I mean, if you want to look back, which you can, I should have admitted to him the first time he called me in the office in January of '89, but I didn't. And I had advice from lawyers and things like that. So I'm in my late 40s. I got 2 young kids, and all of a sudden I'm going to be ousted from baseball. How do I raise my kids? All I knew my whole life was baseball, and that's why you do things that you do.
Now, there's a lot there. First of all, you're in your 40s. Didn't you make some money already at that point? You're Pete Rose. You're selling your autograph anyways as it is. You can continue to sell your autograph. You could have made money other ways. Now, the part that I can't disagree with him on, when you get legal help, it's because, like when we brought on Albert Namad, I'm not smart enough to know all the nuances of the cap. And in that interview, you learned a lot. So did I. Because there's a bunch of things that you and I don't know about the cap. Well, if we hire a lawyer, it's because we can't go out and defend ourselves. We don't know the law the way a lawyer does. We're not going to know how to defend ourselves, how to find loopholes, how to find all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. So you're going to follow the advice of the professionals. So I can understand where Pete says, hey, man, I was going through legal advice, and this is what they told me to do. They probably thought he had a fighting chance or that they couldn't prove it or whatever it is. And obviously that wasn't the case, and he was found guilty, and he was suspended, and he lied, and that's where I really had a problem with Pete. Look, man, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Bill's not perfect. Nobody here is perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. It's about facing those mistakes, taking on those challenges, correcting them, being better people because of those mistakes. Believe it or not, we can be better even when we make mistakes and have setbacks because we can learn from them. And so for him, he had to admit right away, and he didn't. Lying about it just buried him even more with a lot of people. So Pete is now asked, and follow up, are there any regrets of how he handled all of this?
Yeah, I regret a lot of things looking back, and I regret, I regret you right now hashing out 1989. That's old news. Everybody's forgot about that. Look to the future. Don't look at the past. You can look at the past all day and all night. It's not going to change that I've been on baseball on my own team to win. and I got suspended, and it's like a lifetime suspension. I've been suspended 30 years, not 10, not 15. So everybody says I didn't pay the penalty, 30 years.
It's a lifetime ban, Pete. Lifetime's a lot longer than 30. I mean, I just want to correct Pete there. Lifetime is not like 17 years. Lifetime's not 20. It's lifetime. That's the ban. Look, I've said this for years. Pete shouldn't be a part of baseball. You want to put him in because of what he did as a player? I got no problem. Put the bust in, whatever. He can't be anywhere near baseball. That's all. Because the way he screwed up as a manager, not a player. He wasn't a cheater as a player. And he wasn't a cheater as a manager either. He was just doing something illegal. He wasn't cheating. He was betting on his team. Wrong on every level, so don't allow him in baseball anymore. I don't think there's a problem with that at all. But it's a lifetime ban. Lifetime is lifetime. That's where it's kind of screwed up.
Maybe he's thinking like that court thing, 25 years. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes it's 25 to life.
To life, right.
Okay? All right? So life is life. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel sorry for him only because he lied for 20 years. When you got busted and you kept lying and kept lying and kept lying and there was proof and all of that, people came forward. There was, I think, didn't they show like a black book that had his bets or something like that? I forgot back in the day.
There was sheets, yes.
Yeah,
that,
so
like they connected and basically it's like
you were busted, bro.
And what they did is they tracked, I think, the phone calls to other managers to find out what pitchers, who was playing, who was hurt, who was banged up. And basically was on that sheet, and it correlated.
Yeah.
So they got phone calls, the sheets.
They busted.
Sorry.
You got busted, and you should have come clean. You know? That's what you should have done then. Like all of us. You make a mistake, whatever, you get busted, just come clean already. Admit it. Move on, apologize, learn from it, be better from it. All of that. But he refused to do it for a long, long time. That would piss me off about Pete. That's the one thing that infuriates me about Pete Rose. Because I get it at the beginning when your lawyers give you that advice and then it becomes bad advice. Okay, but you've realized it's bad advice. Okay, get back on track now. 6 months, a year later, you see it did not work out. Well, then admit and move on and apologize and we'll forgive you. Now you've got a group of people that never want to apologize, never want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And so that's why with all of this, it really falls on him more than anything else. And I don't want to put the burden on this current commissioner that it's his fault if he doesn't get it. No, man. He's not the one that suspended him for life, and he's not the one that was betting on baseball. And I understand the bitterness from Pete's side of it, okay? Because what the steroid guys did was worse than Pete. What the Astros were doing was way worse than anything Pete did. Pete wasn't trying to alter the game, okay? They caught him betting on his team. That's it. So he was playing to win, managing to win, and he was betting on them to win. So it was still wrong at every level, but it's not a level of cheating like these guys. So I understand that when he sees this, and by the way, these players are not paying the price. The steroid guys are, because Bonds is not getting in, McGuire's not getting in, Sosa's not getting in, all those guys. And they all have to live with that demon too, because we all look at him now. And we say, you're Barry. Barry, you're a cheater. Oh, yeah, you're Mark McGuire. You're a cheater and a coward. Sosa, yeah, you're a cheater and you've got terrible skin. I mean, what the hell are you doing dyeing your skin, bro? Come on.
Ralphie, man, that had the most hits in the 80s.
Yeah, Rafael Palmeiro.
Stood there on Capitol Hill. I never did that.
Rafi's amazing because he needed help for both bats. The one on the field and the one off the field. Remember, he used to do spots for Viagra. So Rafi was a guy that struggled with all kinds of bats. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. I mean, poor Rafi. He had to get some pop in his bat in the bedroom and on the diamond. That's a mission for him. But no, listen, all kidding aside, I understand Rose's frustration. But the part where I can't sympathize with you is that, dude, you were a habitual liar for decades. Like, you showed a level of ignorance that is disturbing. So if they ban you for life, it's your fault, not mine. I'm not feeling sorry for you. I'm not. Okay? And I'm the guy that I have no problem inducting him to the Hall of Fame as a player and then say, okay, you got your honor, now get out and leave us alone. And you're never a part of baseball ever again. I got no problem with that whatsoever. Let him have his bust in there. And then it ends right there and then. So that story about Pete Rose, just one of those that, what can I tell you? And the other thing, forget about the past. Everybody's forgotten about it. Not really, dude. Everybody that's kind of lived it, it's kind of your identity now. You're not just a hit king. You're also the guy that lied for 20 years and got banned from baseball. That's, to a group of people, that's all you're known for. Young people that may even know people. Oh, yeah, that's the guy suspended. Those of us that watched you, we know, we admire the way you played the game because, man, did I love who didn't love watching that guy play, right? That's the guy you watched and you told you sat next to your son or your brother or your friend. You said that's how you play the game of baseball, the way Pete Rose played the game. There's a lot of admiration for Pete Rose, but Pete has to understand that this whole thing about forget the past and all that stuff, that's for you, buddy. Everybody else knows about your past and they're not forgetting about it. All right, 3 hours down. We got one more to go. Andre Fernandez from The Athletic will join us on the other side. We'll talk all things Miami Heat with the beat writer next.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. We are going to get Andre Fernandez on. Talk a little Miami Heat. The Heat, I think, are making some news. Some news. So Andre is covering the Miami Heat, which they are off tonight. Tomorrow, they are in Sacktown to take on the Kings. So we'll have a little fun with the man, the myth, the legend that is Andre Fernandez. It's a beautiful thing. We'll talk a little Heat with Andre now. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, it's Fernandez Andre C. And you can, of course, catch his exceptional work at...
We have Andre Fernandez, sir.
I like it. I like it. You can catch his work at The Athletic. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic because it's a mere like $4 a month and you get the whole damn country and all the local teams, including Andre's exceptional coverage of the Miami Heat. Andre, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, buddy? I'm waiting. I'm watching the clock. I'm counting down the minutes to get this deadline over with.
Well, no. Well, you know that you still may hang on after 3 o'clock, right? After 3, you still have to wait in the NBA. It's not like the NFL at 4, it's over and that's it. But in the NBA, someone may trickle in, and at 3:15 they tell you, well, here's a deal that just came in, right? So you got a little while to wait here.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's more of like a mental consolation. You're like, all right, I can see the finish line once it hits 3 o'clock.
I love it. Well, Andre,
but you never know.
We had Albert Namad on earlier talking some Cap stuff. We had Keith Smith talking a little NBA from Real GM. And then a lot of the thought now is that maybe this is where the Heat stand and they stay with Iguodala only, and the Gallinari deal looks like it's dead. Are you feeling the same way right now about that?
Yeah, it seems like it's at an impasse at this point. Not too clear yet exactly why it happened, but I know, there was some talk about picks, but then now there's some buzz about it not being necessarily about the picks. I mean, we know the Heat doesn't want to jeopardize, what their chance at aiming pretty high, in that big summer of 21, in free agency. So, it could have come down to one of those factors where they couldn't agree on something. It's a shame because to me, like, it's a good move. Don't get me wrong. It's a good move. There's a lot of financial gain here in terms of who they're.
Whoa, Andre, did we lose you? Oh, there we go. Go ahead. You said financial gain, and then you dropped there. Go right after financial gain.
Okay, yeah, the hotel. Yeah, right after. I'm saying like it financially, it's a positive move in terms of who they're sending away, the space that they're creating to potentially sign guys later, and that sort of thing. But a lot of it depends on Iguodala. How's he going to come out after this layoff? If he's still kind of the same guy, we got to find that out. I'm sure he's going to mesh well with the Heat as far as with the kind of stuff Spo likes to run, the kind, with the teammates, the guys are excited, all that. But physically, at 36, is he there? That's where Gallinari would have been a huge nab for them if you could have added his type of offense to the starting lineup in addition to what Iguodala brings with that versatility and especially the defense. But, I mean, overall, I think it's a good move, both on and off the court for them. It's just a shame because it really could have been, to me, it really could have been a home run if you'd have gotten Gallinari, too.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I heard Iguodala say, well, it'll take me a couple days. I don't think the Heat will put his ass on the court for a couple weeks because when it comes to conditioning and all that stuff, and you just touched on it, I think you have to be extremely careful how you ease him in because of his age and because he's been on the sideline. I know he's working out and all that crap, but he's not playing NBA games. His body needs to adjust before it's ready to do all of that. And you're around these guys, so it's about conditioning and your what's it called, level of knowledge of the offense, all of that kind of stuff, and defense too.
No, absolutely. And that's why I think, I think ideally he'd be good, like to maybe even plug into the lineup and things like that, but I can't see that happening right now, especially because they're shorthanded right now. They'd love to, but you have to kind of ease him back into this. He needs to, needs a little while to get adjusted, to settle in. And yeah, there's no substitute for the real game experience. So, as much as a veteran as he might be, he needs some games to really get that. So I could see them maybe, easing him into that role, little by little, and see where it takes him from there. And yeah, like I said, knock on wood, hopefully, his body holds up because he's been sitting, not sitting, he's been working out, he's been training, but
right,
he's got to get his NBA legs back and get him back quickly.
All right, so now the Solomon Hill and what's it called, the Jay Crowder moves. We thought maybe that was going to be part of the 3-team deal. So now you've absorbed those guys. What do you think about those two, especially Jay Crowder for this team?
Well, Crowder seems to be their type of player. He seems to be that kind of, tough type of guy, really kind of fits in their style. So, I mean, that's another good addition, coming in on the second unit, off the bench, that sort of thing. I mean, Solomon would kind of be, I think he's sort of the same, like the same type of role. Again, another type of presence they could bring in and that'll do well. But the good thing contractually is they're both expiring contracts. So at the end of the day, you're going to have that financial flexibility later and still be able to keep Iguodala if everything works out, next season, without, being, and it gives you the option to re-sign Goran Dragic if you so choose to later on after the season. You could still go after Gallinari later on. It would be great to get him now for this stretch run for this season, but say they're still interested, that's a little bit of flexibility there. They're slightly more under the cap now too. So the interesting part's going to be about a month from now. You've got the buyout deadline. Maybe they try to make another move there, even though they still would have to make a cut to make it happen. But again, to me, it's interesting that they, in terms of the books, they've done a great job kind of, dishing off a lot of their quote-unquote baggage, you know what I mean? So, and been able to bring back at least guys that'll help. Maybe it's not a superstar, but it'll be guys that'll help.
Dude, can you figure out why the hell Memphis made this move? I mean, I know they were dying to get rid of Iguodala, but do they love Winslow that much that they would take in Johnson and Dion Waiters for a year and a half?
Yeah, I mean, that's the surprising thing. I mean, Winslow, I'm not surprised. I think they figure Winslow still young enough where if he could stay healthy, he can contribute, especially with that young core they built there. But yeah, it surprises me that even if it's just for a couple months, taking on those guys. I mean, in their case, and Waiter, well, actually, not a couple months. I take it back because Waiter is still, was under contract next year. So I don't know. That one's one that I think a lot of us right now, it's still kind of fresh, and we're all still kind of wrestling with the fact of why did Memphis do it. But hey, that's I guess that's Pat Riley magic again.
Now, let me ask you something. Andre Fernandez, of course, he beat writer for The Athletic, and you can follow him on Twitter at Fernandez Andre C. Andre, when you look at the relationship between Winslow and the team, did it get to a point where they were already tired of all the injuries? Because personally for me, that's why I like the kid a lot, and I was a Winslow defender, but I run out of patience with players that are constantly injured, and that's where I kind of run out of my patience with him. How was that whole situation between the player and the team?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. I think it really came down to just almost like a difference behind the scenes, when it came to like how to handle his back injury. And, I guess they figured, it just didn't, he fell out of, I guess, their long-term vision for having him as a core piece, down the road because of, the history there with that. And it's kind of glaring when you give up a 23-year-old and, he's a former first-round pick and all that, but it was going to be a situation like that where not only were you not going to get anything from him potentially, or maybe very little from him the rest of this season, but if moving forward you feel like you can have players that I guess they felt were more dependable, in that regard, then in a lot of ways among the fans, like a polarizing guy, a lot of fans were in his corner and, wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt that he would pan out. And then a lot of people were just fed up already.
Yeah, no, I got tired of. I mean, I like Justice. I love him as a glue guy, but it gets to a point where it's just, bro, you're unreliable. Your body just cannot hold up. It's one injury after another. Which again, if I'm Memphis, I get it. I got a young core I'm building, and I can add another young piece, and that would be exciting. But have you been watching? This guy has missed 100 and something games since he's been in the league. That's a lot of games that this guy has missed.
Yeah, definitely, and for different reasons too. It's it's not just one recurring injury. It's something different every time, it seems.
All right, so now where is there a chance that there are smaller deals that they're trying to make now with either Solomon or Jay Crowder at this point in time? What do you think is, if the Gallinari thing is dead, are they trying anything else at this point? Do you hear anything?
I mean, I haven't heard specifically, but I think, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I think they will squeeze every minute they have left, every window, every avenue to try and get as much as they can. And I'm sure they've still, not given up on Gallinari. We're about 45 minutes away, or, an hour and 45 minutes in reality until we might hear something concrete. But yeah, I think they're going to pursue it till the last possible second to try and get Gallinari, and they're out there, trying to get as much as they can. And again, it's just even in a year like this where you really didn't think maybe they were going to be able to do anything at all, or something, very minor, insignificant. At the very least, they swing something unexpected and something that'll, at the very least, continue to advance them toward, future potential championships.
Well, Andre, listen, in life, my brother, you're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make a ton of mistakes. You might make a couple. I'll make 4,000 of them a day. But we all, as human beings, want to kind of learn from those mistakes and grow. I'll tell you this, the one thing that stands out about all of this, man, the Heat learned their lesson with JJ, TJ, Dion, and Whiteside when they put themselves in a hole that they had no flexibility with the whole, with the way they handled this Iggy thing, having the team option for that second year so they can keep that flexibility for 2021. And I'm sure that's what's going on here with the Gallinari thing. Gallinari probably wants more money than they're willing to give, and they don't want to ruin their flex. They are dead set on maintaining that flexibility of 2021 while improving. That's pretty awesome right now if you're a Heat fan.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that I agree with you that I think that's where the impasse is at right now because, we know Pat Riley, when it comes to draft picks, not that he's handing them out like left and right necessarily, but, he's not, he doesn't hoard them either, as we know that. So I don't think he'd be that hesitant to give up another pick in the interest of improving the roster with a 20-point scorer like Gallinari. So it's got to be something like that where, both sides aren't budging. He wants the money. They would give it to him, but they're not going to risk. They're not going to do anything to jeopardize potentially bringing in another big-time player like that in 2021. That could be the key to starting another long run.
Exactly. Butler, MRI, shoulder, what do we know?
Yeah, MRI, shoulder, potential. We haven't heard yet if he's had the MRI yet or anything like that. They're not. We're waiting to hear, actually, because of the deadline, to see if they're going to practice today. So we should find out a little bit more this afternoon. But, again, Jimmy will always say he's fine. But let's see because, we know how tough he is, but we got to make sure. And that obviously would hurt because, Tyler Hero's in a walking boot, which did not look good yesterday. And we know Myers Leonard's going to be out for a few games since he's not coming on the road trip. So, the team's limping a little bit right now on the West Coast. So they can't afford to lose Jimmy for a few games too.
No, I'm with you there. Although when he talked after in the locker room to you guys, he sounded pretty upbeat. He didn't look like he was really concerned about what was going on with him physically. You know what I'm saying? You tell me. You were there.
Yeah.
What did you sense?
I don't think it was. I don't think it's like very serious. But then again, if they're talking MRI, that's always a little bit. You have to at least keep an eye out to see how that comes out and see if just in case if it's something that could nag beyond just a couple of games or because we've seen him deal through a couple where he misses one maybe and then comes back. This has it sounds like this could have the chance of being a little more than that, but I wouldn't say it's anything extremely severe. I'm a little more concerned of how long Leonard could be out since he's not even going to be on this road trip. And like I said before, Tyler, they haven't said anything prolonged, but when you're seeing him, wearing a boot the size of a protective boot he was wearing in the locker room yesterday, your eyes kind of go like, uh-oh, and we know how key he's been.
Right, and it wasn't one of those boots that are like precautionary ones, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, it was one of those big plastic gray ones that look like they go all the way up almost to your knee.
Right, the one that makes it uncomfortable to freaking walk. Basically.
Right, the one that you're literally you look like the pirate with the wooden leg walk. Right. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay. So that is definitely something to be concerned about. Although maybe they just want to keep him, mobilized or immobilized. Is it right? Is it immobilized or is it mobilized?
Yeah, immobilized.
Immobilized. Right,
yeah.
immobilized. Yep. They want to keep it. All right, exactly. Andre, when we look at the injuries right now. With Butler and with Tyler and the rest of this, the West Coast swing. So Gabe and these other guys are going to start becoming a little bit more a part of what they're doing because he got several minutes yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. That's the whole reason that they would call up the G League guys now. And that kind of showed you right there, even before Jimmy got hurt, that, and also because of the moves too, because they didn't know how much the shifting pieces were going to be on the bench and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'd expect him to continue to get in some minutes. He looked good yesterday, but obviously it's just one game and, the kid's still learning everything with the, just the system and obviously breaking into the NBA for the first time. So it's a big ask right now, but it's good. It'll be good for him, but at the same time, it's a little worrisome for Miami. With Sacramento tomorrow, then after then you got Portland and then obviously some tough ones at the end of the trip right before the break, facing, the Warriors can be pesky at times this year. The Jazz are obviously really good. So this is still going to be a really tough stretch to reach the All-Star break, this shorthanded.
Normally in most years and on most teams, they add a guy to the G League or they call him up. We're like, whatever. It's a scrubberini. It's some guy to fill in. Now when the Heat do it, we got to okay, who is this guy? We need to study him right now because he may end up turning into another one of these other cats. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like Vincent a lot, man. I think I love that shot he has. I think it's going to be potentially one of these guys that can come in and be an offensive contributor once he gets some more experience. And like I said before, this is a perfect time around. There's some tough spots that'll be good for him to learn.
Derek Jones Jr., career high yesterday. This is the guy that when they traded Winslow, they said, well, we're getting a lot of the stuff we used to get from Winslow from this young man now. He may not be the ball handler that Winslow is and run the offense and that's the one thing that he has over him. But then again, Jones is a better shooter than Winslow. He's a better finisher around the basket than Winslow. So there are positives and negatives, but I would imagine that the Heat looked at that young man and said, well, we're really not going to miss Winslow a lot because this guy has filled in a lot of those boxes.
Right. And then again, I think that's where, a move like this, gives you the flexibility to bring that kid back to, next season. We know he's not signed through next year, but now you have that flexibility, in addition to if you want to keep, Dragic around. And yeah, finisher at the rim, obviously we know that. And the shot will continue. The shot, I think, they're going to continue. They've even, they've stressed the fact that his 3-point shot's not very consistent right now, but they see signs where with time, continued work, it could develop into a weapon for him, and that'll make him, that much better of a player since he's already a pretty good defender and can drive as well as he does and create some offense.
All right, so we'll wrap it up with this. Andre Fernandez, of course, from The Athletic, covering the Miami Heat. What's your guess? Jake Crowder, I know Iguodala won't be in the lineup tomorrow, probably won't be in the lineup for another week, but the trade will be finalized today. What's your guess? Does Jake Crowder play with the Heat tomorrow, considering all the injuries?
Well, I think he has a chance to. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Iguodala playing. I mean, I don't think Iguodala would start
he's not
necessarily
playing
right away.
I don't think he plays tomorrow, dude.
You don't think so?
No way, bro.
No, maybe not tomorrow. No, maybe not tomorrow, but I mean later in the trip. Later in the trip before the All-Star game.
Okay, maybe a week from now.
Yeah.
I could see something like that with Iguodala. But Crowder with the injuries, I remember when they did that Zoe trade, and I think Zoe couldn't get back in time, but Tony Smith out of that deal. Do you remember that at all, Andre? I don't know if can you hear me now? You got me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I didn't hear the last thing.
I remember when they made that Zoe trade there were several players involved. A couple players couldn't make it in time, but Tony Smith did, and they were able to put him out on the court. That's why I'm wondering with the injuries right now, and especially with Butler, I'm wondering if they kind of hurry the process and say, hey, Jay, we need you tomorrow. Get your ass in here as soon as possible.
I think they would, and I heard that Iguodala's out here on the West Coast already, so that could be another thing that might speed things up as well, in terms of at least getting them into a shoot-around, getting them into a practice, start to get them acclimated. But that's the thing. I mean, he's definitely not going to start or anything like that, or maybe play extended minutes. But, I mean, in their situation right now, I think they'll take anything they can get to compensate for some of these, especially if Jimmy's going to be out for a little bit.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this, Andre. Solomon Hill, does he even play? Is he like a 12th man, 14th man? Is he the guy that only plays if there's 4,000 injuries?
Yeah, I think he's at the end of the bench for now. Yeah, possibly. I mean, that's the thing. You already have guys more established ahead of him probably in this rotation. But I think they'll find some minutes for him. But yeah, wouldn't expect be heavy, especially in the beginning, unless, like you said, guys continue to fall, with setbacks here and there.
Good stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Fernandez Andre C and catch his work at The Athletic. Andre, as always, man, thank you for taking some time and hang in there, my man. I know you're tracking all this stuff down.
Yep, definitely. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it, baby. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Andre Fernandez, as always, kind enough to join us. Cleveland is finalizing a trade for Detroit's Andre Drummond. Yes! 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 I love this. You didn't go get the guy, huh?
Who?
What do you mean, who?
I'm stacked, man. I can't.
You can't?
I'm stacked.
Well, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you play fantasy basketball, okay, listen to me now, just in case, because we've been talking about it. I want to say for about a month now, Andy Behrens and myself have been talking about it. I've had him on my roster for a month because I've been waiting for the moment that they move Andre Drummond, and then they're going to put this young man forward, and he's going to take over, and he is going to produce a lot of points. So if you have an opportunity and you can actually go out and get Christian Wood from Detroit, go do it like right now, like this second, okay? Christian Wood is going to blow up from here on out. We've been waiting for this Drummond trade. Finally, it happened. Christian Wood is going to take over. I'm telling you, go get him now. If he's available somehow, some way, you just got yourself a star. Christian Wood, I guarantee you, Bill, is better than the last player you have on your bench. Guaranteed. This is a double-double machine. This is a guy that's going to get you like 18, 12, and 2 or 3 blocks. I'm telling you, go get Christian Wood like right away. Okay? Do not waste any time whatsoever. Your last guy on your roster, cut him and go get Christian Wood. You're going to thank me if he's available. Wow, what a move. So Andre Drummond finally gets dealt. Man. And it was weird, too, because this is a guy that, like, he's a double-double machine. Like, you're going to get 18 and 14 every night from that guy. And the defense that you could get from him. I get it that the traditional centers aren't as popular anymore. But, man, if you can pick up some defense in the middle of your team like that and rebounding, I think you add it if you can. Let's see. John says, want until Inter Miami takes over here in South. What? Vladimir Lario says, Hassan flexing while down 16 is the lasting impression of the 30-11 team. More individuals looking for contracts. Amen to that, my friend. Amen to that. Hassan is one of those problems. Yeah. It's awesome that the Heat today or last night and today or whatever are in the midst of getting rid of all the rest of their bad contracts. It's fantastic. It really is. Because it's been a nightmare for us for a couple of years. Because we kind of knew that the Heat weren't going anywhere. Right? That's the thing. We knew, okay, it's over. He'd have no shot at going anywhere. They're not going to make an impact in the playoffs. We're stuck with these rosters and stuck with
we were the trade deadline. Yeah, we're going to have to wait till next year.
Right.
When it's the last year of those contracts, and we'll be able to move we're not going to be able to move. That's what you kept saying. That's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
We're stuck.
We're stuck.
We're handcuffed. We can't do anything.
Yeah.
Dude, Riles is, something like
listen, and not only that, remember, this falls in line with his history. Tim Hardaway disgruntled. Alonzo Mourning disgruntled. Shaquille O'Neal disgruntled. He finds the guys that LeBron disgruntled. He just can't get it done in Cleveland. Bosh disgruntled. What's it called? Andre Iguodala disgruntled. I don't want to play for those guys.
Well, you heard what Legler said. Every team that is trying to do well in the playoffs should have been looking at Iguodala.
Of course.
Every one of them.
Of course. As long as you use them the right way. You know what I mean? But yes, I'm with you. Now, if you grab him and then you're going to be our star, you're going to be our frontline player, you're going to play 35 minutes a game, his old ass will break down in a week.
You know what's perfect? The way Mourning was used in that last championship that he won. Give me 18 or 20 max out, balls to the wall minutes.
Same thing you're going to get. That's what you're going to get from the guy. 15 to 20.
That's all we need.
Really important game. Maybe he goes to 25. It's playoffs or something, but I would say 15 to 20 is for sure the window of where he's going to be at.
Listen, I looked at the schedule the next 3, okay? Sacramento, 19-31. Golden State, 12-40.
No Butler.
You know what?
Okay, so
we shouldn't have a problem winning the next 3 games. Obviously,
no,
they're
road games, dude. They're tough.
Yeah, but
even if they're crappy teams, I know Sacramento's really not that bad.
They're 19-31.
They're not, but I'm not even going by the game. I watched them.
Yeah.
They have some talent.
They got some stuff. Yeah, they do. They got some stuff.
They will be a pain in the ass for Miami to beat at the Sleep Arena or whatever the hell that thing is called. It's a really nice arena with the purple colors and all that. They really look. Sleep Train Arena is what it's called. And I would imagine that's some beds or something like that.
I was going to say, it's got to be a bed cover.
Yeah, something like that. But, it still won't be easy, especially without Butler. But, we'll see. That's why I asked him about Jay Crowder. Not that Jay Crowder is any kind of a frontline player. It's just it's another body that helps you. And the other thing about Jay Crowder, you added a defensive player. Iguodala and Jay Crowder are defensive players. Okay? Iguodala is not a monster offensive player, but he's a monster defensive player. That guy will get dirty. That guy will get scrappy. That guy will get rebounds. That guy will get steals. That guy will facilitate and pass the ball. Not that he's a point guard or anything. What I'm saying is he will facilitate with the offense. He's not one of those guys that the ball's going to stop because he's thinking about his shot or whatever. No, he knows to keep the flow in the offense going. He's a really smart player. Jay Crowder is a perfect Miami Heat role player. Okay? If you ever had to paint an ideal role player for the Heat, Jay Crowder is one of those kind of guys. I like him. I've always liked him. I've always thought of him as a really good role player and a guy that any team would love to have. So, we'll see.
You know what? Anything that those guys do,
yes,
it's like bonus because, honestly, to get Iguodala with his playoff experience to help these young guys, what he brings to the table, and getting rid of Waiters and Johnson, you're talking to, and Winslow with his injuries, you're talking about basically the guys sitting at 10, 11, and 12 on our bench.
Yeah.
And we turned it into something.
And salaries.
Yes.
They weren't doing anything.
It's like, man.
They weren't producing for you, and they were killing your salary. Now, Solomon, I don't think will do much for you, but it's an expiring contract. But Jay Crowder, you got, it's a great point.
Like I said,
it's a great point you made.
Bonus.
You brought 3. You got rid of 3 unproductive guys, and you brought in 2 of 3 productive guys. So you got 2 productive bodies for 3 unproductive bodies. Solomon is not a bad little role player deep in your bench, but he's nothing. Nothing that you go, oh my God, I got to have him on. But I love Jay Crowder off the bench for the bench for the. You know what you just did? You drastically improved the Heat's bench. Because they could score, but Tyler's not defending for you. Olynyk's not much of a defender. And Goran Dragic is a matador, not a defender. Now you added Jay Crowder that will get dirty and will defend, and you added, obviously, Andre Iguodala, who will defend some. So that's actually pretty cool. I got something really cool for you. We're going to take a quick break here. When I come back on the other side, I'm going to tell you about something really, really cool for a certain act, and it could have been historic. All right? That's next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back.
This is the Big O.
There we go again. All right, welcome back. We take you here. A couple minutes left here on the show. We got a bunch of things that we've talked about today on the program. It's been a great day, man. The Heat have made a big move. They have set themselves up.
Hasta la vista, dead weight.
Yep. Memphis, by the way, just traded JJ to Minnesota. There you go. So they weren't keeping all the baggage. How about that? So Memphis just traded James Johnson to Minnesota. I mean, well, they got rid of Wiggins, so they're going to use James Johnson in the Wiggins role. If I'm correct, I think did James Johnson already play in Minnesota once before? He might have been there. Not sure. Interesting. All right. That's crazy. All right, anyway. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And, of course, here on YouTube, make sure you give us the thumbs up while you're watching. As always, we appreciate all of you out there for supporting us. But as you're always watching, give us a thumbs up. And whenever you're listening to the podcast, because I know a lot of, some folks are watching it live now, but a lot of people are usually, it's the podcast way. That's on demand is the way of the world nowadays, as Earth, Wind and Fire used to say, the way of the world. It's on demand, and thousands are downloading every single day. So whenever you're listening, day, night, overnight, whatever, and you want to say something, send it in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. I'll usually answer them on the air, and sometimes I'll just answer them directly to you, too, on there. But one way or another, I will get to your question, usually. Usually. You know what I'm saying? I mean, quite a few come in, but I do my best to be responsible in that sense. It's pretty cool, I would imagine, if your band is able to be a part of something historic, kind of like a movie and a soundtrack, right? Can you think of something, Bill, like a band that really benefited from a movie soundtrack and a song that like helped catapult them to stardom and things like that?
You know what? It's funny you would bring that up.
Okay.
In Excess, Shabu Shaba, part of that Tom Cruise with the chick from Back to the Future. He's the football player. What was the name of it?
Oh, Show Me the Money one?
No. High school. He's in high school in
Pittsburgh.
All
the Right Moves.
All the Right Moves. Thank you.
Okay.
In Excess, Shabu Shaba. Or no, not that. Reckless. I'm sorry, Reckless with Daryl Hannah and Aidan Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Shabu Shaba. In Excess. Reckless, I think is it called. They play football. He ends up taking Daryl Hannah from like the star quarterback, blah, and his dad's, he doesn't come from the best family. But it's the same type of atmosphere, Pittsburgh, rough, blue-collar type.
Right, I got you.
But, yeah, Reckless is the name of the movie, Daryl Hannah.
Okay, well, it's one of those things when you get a chance to be a part of something like that. The other day we talked about somebody that was that had a chance to be a part of the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and they couldn't, right? And obviously that was something that they lost out in their lives because they would have an opportunity, and they would have an opportunity to break through in the music world and gain something.
Not just breakthrough, man. That album was the all-time selling album for years. That was the highest-selling album of all time.
Right.
Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Every song was a hit, man. A bunch of number ones, and everything was like top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why when you have an opportunity, sometimes you don't know when that opportunity comes, and you don't know how good of an opportunity it is until it's come and gone, because you had that window, it was opened, and then you said no to it, and so you then find out later in hindsight, okay, this was we screwed up in a big time way.
You crapped the bed.
Yes. So, Judas Priest, with more than 50 million albums sold worldwide, all right, and they've made a lot of great decisions in their lives. And now they've also made some bad decisions. One of them, KK Downing admitted, was a big mistake. Back in 1986, the metal band was invited to join the Top Gun soundtrack. So in 86, the metal band, in the height of its popularity, movie producers sought to capitalize on the fandom by featuring a hard rock song on their soundtrack. They wanted the emphatic and powerful to match the adrenaline rush of the film. So they approached Judas Priest, fresh off the success of Screaming for Vengeance in 82 and Defenders of the Faith in 84. They were working on their next album, Turbo Lover. Anyway, we were down in the studio mixing the album and everything was just working out, Downing recalled. Then we were approached for the project. When the filmmakers heard Reckless, They believe they found the perfect song for their closing credits of Top Gun. There was just one problem. The contract called for exclusive rights of the track to go to the film's soundtrack. If Priest agreed to the deal, they would not be allowed to include Reckless on Turbo. We decided not to take it off Turbo, Downing explained in an interview posted on the official website, adding that the band did not want to change the LP's construction because it thought that the album flowed really well, and that was a big mistake on our part. Turbo was released on April 14th of 86, and Reckless as its closing track, though the album sold more than 1 million copies, it failed to score a radio hit the band had hoped for. Decades later, Downing recognized that the cloud of Top Gun could have pushed Reckless to the top of the charts. That probably would have done it because it would have been all over radio. I suppose if it was in the movie, the guitar opined to classic rock, we thought Turbo Lover and Locked In were going to do it for us, but they didn't. The tour was very successful. The album was successful, but it wasn't a big selling album as we hoped for. Top Gun, meanwhile, went on to become a box office smash, earning more than $350 million worldwide. Its soundtrack hit #1 on the Billboard album charts, selling more than 9 million copies in the U.S. alone. Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins would be the movie's closing credits song, with the track becoming synonymous with the film and 80s pop culture. How about that, dude? It would have replaced Danger Zone. And Reckless is a great song. I know the song. I wanted to play it for you, but then we got YouTube and all this, and they get all touchy about
15,
this crap.
20 seconds later,
yeah,
we're taking off.
Yeah, it's
YouTube.
it's crazy. So we're not going to do that. But if you want to hear the song, you can hear. But think about that, Bill. Reckless could have been the closing credits. Now, in hindsight, the Kenny Loggins song is so freaking perfect. It's still, like, to this day, it's still the perfect song, right?
Kenny Loggins, bunch of movie
right.
songs.
Oh, yeah, no, he's a god.
Yeah. From
yeah.
Caddyshack, Footloose, you name it, man, the guy.
Yeah, beast. No doubt about it. Genius, musical genius. No doubt about that, too. But think about that. They could have been in that soundtrack. What a great story.
You know, it's a
bitter for them, great for us to talk about.
It's a crazy combination, though. You know, you think of the soundtrack.
But at that time, metal was the hottest it was ever going to be. At that time,
it was its pinnacle for sure, no doubt.
Like people like us, it wasn't a big deal to us because metal was our life. But we saw the general public kind of climb on board and listen to Motley and listen to Judas Priest, another thing coming, all that stuff, and they were bandwagon, in other words. They weren't really metal fans, but it was cool enough because it was crossing over to regular radio. You know, a lot of metal songs were starting to cross over, A Quiet Riot, all that stuff. So it became a thing at that time metal's kind of cool. It's kind of mainstream, in other words. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, let's face it.
Metal became mainstream.
Another thing, MTV, as popular as it was, and every metal band had videos.
Yeah.
And actually pretty cool music videos compared to others.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
So
for sure.
That was obviously another helping element to, you know, putting metal where it went more mainstream. You know, it didn't just stay with like us.
Right.
You know?
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
But shortly thereafter, we know that was it.
Oh, yeah.
Metal.
Well, grunge came a couple of years right after that, right at the end of the 80s.
You know what? I look at.
And then it was over.
Here,
grunge became the one that was cool.
Guns N' Roses and Metallica.
Right.
Were the ones that killed off metal. They were there for a bit, and then the Seattle sound, the grunge came
right at the end of the 80s.
Totally like changed rock.
Well, that became
but
the
Guns
cool
N'
rock.
Roses and Metallica did like kill off metal. It like changed to that type of rock.
Not Metallica. Metallica was thrash. You're talking about not Guns N' Roses either. It was Nirvana and those
No,
bands.
but they came after Guns N' Roses and Metallica.
Yeah,
Nirvana
but
did.
the Nirvana run is the one from Nirvana on. All those other grunge acts that followed is the one because that became the mainstream
STP,
cool
Pearl Jam.
That became the mainstream cool rock to listen to, not metal. Metal was for a short window, and then grunge took over, and it was over after that. Stones, by the way, if you missed them recently over at Hard Rock Stadium, they have now announced a North American tour. Okay? The legendary rockers have announced a slew of North American performances throughout 2020. It's a stadium trek that begins May 8th in San Diego, wraps up July 9th in Atlanta, and pre-sale launches will begin on February 12th, followed through the 14th. We do have a Florida date. You don't have a Miami one because you just recently had a Miami concert with the Stones. And I'm gonna read something that's kind of funny in a second. Only funny if you went to the concert, but then I'll explain it to you. Maybe, I don't know, you might find it entertaining. But
Singing in the Rain?
They are going to Tampa July 5th at Raymond James Stadium. They're going to be there. So if you want to see in the state of Florida, July 5th, you will have that opportunity. Okay? San Diego, California, May 8th. Nashville, May 20th. Austin, Texas, May 24th. Dallas, May 29th. Let's see. Pittsburgh, June 23rd. St. Louis, June 27th. Charlotte, July 1st. Those are some of the dates there for that. Now, I'm reading this article, right? And my man, the guitarist, what's it called? Keith Richards, right? He goes, "We had the best time on the road last summer, and we are ready to do it again." Now, if you go to one of the Stones concerts, okay, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to pay attention to Keith Richards, okay? He barely plays any notes in the concert. Like, he tinkles with the guitar throughout the concert. Ronnie Wood is carrying everything, dude. Okay? Not even the solos he's doing anymore. Not Give Me Shelter, nothing. He's not doing anything, dude. It's so weak at this point. He has, completely. Then again, maybe he's just, a zombie at this point that he can't do that stuff.
I was going to say, all the drugs and everything and drinking has caught up with him, finally?
I think so.
So he's on his last leg.
I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I just found it funny. Oh, we had a blast. Yeah, hell yeah, you had a blast, dude. You're not doing any work. Mick is singing and dancing around, and he still looks like he's 30, because he's just got great electricity.
Coming off of heart surgery.
Yeah, well, he had stents like I did, and trust me, that sucks the life out of you. That you got to come. It takes you a little bit to come back. Took me a little bit to come back, man. I remember my first day back, just walking up the stairs at QAM. I needed help. I needed people to carry my bags up because it was kind of like a mission for me at that point. I was so fresh removed from all that stuff and went back to work. So I remember that if I would talk and I would get a little bit more emotional, I would feel it. It was like one of those things.
Think
that
about
just
it, man.
Affects you,
Your
man.
the thing that keeps you going.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have some wear and tear, some ill effects, man.
Yeah, it was scary, man.
That in your lungs, man. Your heart in your lungs. If you can't breathe and your heart doesn't pump, you're dead.
Yeah. Man.
And anything that happens to them, man, you feel it.
But Ronnie Wood is kicking ass. Everybody's kicking ass on that band. Except Keith Richards is just like doing nothing, bro. Nothing. You got to watch it. I mean, it's hilarious. It really is. It's a joke, actually. And how about this? The money he's making for doing nothing, that's impressive in itself. Okay? And we're talking about one of the legendary guitarists of all time, bro. Talking about a guy that's come up with some really sweet licks back in the day and some great tunes that, it's hard to replace. So,
well, obviously it can be because somebody was standing in for him during the tour.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, we got to wrap it up here on the show. Today, we cheated you of 5 minutes. Okay, yesterday we went over 30. Today we're going to go under 5. That's how it goes, man. I can do what I want. You know? It's over. I don't got any more to say. I have said enough. I have done enough. We will follow up tomorrow from 2 places. We will be at Craig's Inn Acura from 9 to 11 in the morning. And then from 1 to 4 in the afternoon, we will be at Hialeah Park. So please come on out and join us. We would love to meet you. Craig's Inn, Acura, Pembroke Pines, 9 to 11, 1 to 4, Hialeah Park. Come on out, and we thank all the folks that came by today to say hi during the breaks. We really appreciate that. Very kind of you all for coming on by.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir. On behalf of Bill and John Cassio and all the folks that tune in every single day, downloading, watching, listening, our incredible sponsors like Steve Ostrov and all the great people at Craig's Inn and all the entire Craig's Inn family. We will see you tomorrow, baby. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.
See ya.